got the one quote from Universal, right?
That's universal plow.
'Cause that's the plow we have. is
Yeah,
Universal.
correct. The plow system that are on the truck are universal. I called them back up, they said that we could use the framing, everything that we have on the truck. The only difference is that we're gonna go from the style plow we got to a high-speed plow, cause the problem that we're having with the state trucks is that them are not a high-speed plow, and all the snow's coming over top of the plow and going on the windshield, they can't see where they're plowing. So it's become a quite major issue of safety, and all the material, sand and stuff is coming up on the windshield, is scratching the windshields all up. One of our new trucks, the windshield's already all scratched up from the windshield wipers running, you know, from the stuff coming up, so.
Even putting it on the county roads, it still needs, should be a high speed.
Yeah, from here on out, she's all high-speed plows.
What's the difference in the cost?
What's that?
What's the difference in the
Like,
cost?
you got a quote right here, Mike,
Oh,
this is what it is.
oh, I see, okay.
$11,000.
Okay.
But what are they gonna give us for the plows we have?
They don't want them, give them back.
They don't
to
even
us.
want them?
Nope,
They're a year-old plow?
don't even want them. We got 3 other plows at the shop that are like that are getting pretty rusty, or pretty much worn out, so we could use that blade on that frame. So it's not like it's gonna go to waste, we can still use it.
We need one or two of these.
Give me 2.
How long a lead time is that? Just for 2 plows?
They'll have them done this summer, if we move on it.
So what do they all got, they got 10 to 12 hours labor? What do they really gotta change on the truck?
It's not so much a truck, I don't, E2 is just a labor cost effective. I mean, if they're gonna let us have the blade, we can pull the blade off the frame before we even set the frame down there. All they're doing is putting the other barrel on the frame that we have.
So that's the blade underneath the truck?
That's just the one on the front, the barrel, in the front of the truck, your regular snow plow.
Do we know why they sold us this one instead of the right one in the first place?
Just because of the way it was ordered.
It was ordered with that other plow, or?
Yeah, that was previously ordered before, yeah, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it was.
Is it a COVID thing? It's what they had, so that's what they stuck us with?
No, that's what was quoted, that's what they ordered.
This is, what's the system that's on there right now is pretty much that's what they push for, it's their go-to setup, and knowing what I know now, it just wasn't a good buy for the county, how they ordered it, it's, for what the guys use that with, it's not a good setup, but it's what Universal pushes, for their main setup.
Wow.
Easy sale.
Yep.
Well, we should've known that going into it, it's not like this the first day we went snowplow.
Right.
So whoever did it in the past, or whoever ordered it that way, shame on them, because, again, it's not the first day we pushed snow.
You know, Scott, yeah, for that kind of money, Scott, why wouldn't they take that other plow back and offset the cost? My God, they know we wouldn't have used it. Well, look at it, we got $250,000 for better stuff in those trucks. Well, you know what? You know, as a good, I don't know what it is, but I think as a good businessman, we did good business with them. You know what? Wouldn't you think that they would stand behind that and take the plow, take it back, offset the cost?
I don't even think it's the same salesperson down there now, is it?
What's that here?
When we bought them last truck, I think it's a different salesperson now.
The ones that we just got, the other one truck has only been used one winter, the other one has been here for 2.
Yeah, but Gary's saying, it's the sale people that you probably talked to down there, you weren't.
Yeah, I'm talking to Jared, he was our sales rep for this area.
But he probably wasn't the one that sold us these.
No. No, this is done before he got here.
Unbelievable.
So, where are the new trucks being equipped from?
They are being equipped down at Monroe, they are high-speed plow.
So in other words, it sounds like we go back and look, maybe the old bids, they weren't even apples to apples. One might have been a high-speed plow and one might have been low then. Those ones that were ordered way before, gosh, yeah, that was like 3 years ago.
That'd be the 2 trucks. The two red ones, right?
Yeah, the two quads that we got, yeah.
Can you talk to somebody above this guy?
I can try and see if we can get them for, at least give us somewhat of a discount for taking them back. You know,
Otherwise, is there a market to sell them to townships or anything?
Or-
If they fit.
or we could use them on ours. Basically, the frame of the truck that hooks on, we're gonna keep that part, this is just a barrel that bolts onto it, that pushes the snow. So it's all the front metal thrown out and all that, you know, so. when
That's the
you-
only thing you gotta do to make them a high-speed plow?
We can't do the one that we got, no.
Okay.
There's almost 10 inches of difference in them, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, cause you
The other
see-
ones are a straight blade, right, not an angle?
They can
permanent
make an
angle.
Yeah,
Huh?
they can turn every which way, but they're the same, they're like your Myers or Western
Yeah.
football, they're all the same height.
But they don't have the barrel.
They don't have the big barrel on it.
No, so they're a straight
More or less
blade where you can
like-
angle them. We need the actual, just the barrel, where it's angled one way all the time, that's considered a high-speed plow.
Gotcha. I see the difference.
So when we bought these trucks, they thought they might use, like,
Yeah.
remember, right, they thought they would use it better on corners, cause you can angle it either way, but it doesn't work, because it's all one height plow, and at that kind of speed, everybody that plows, when you get going over 20 miles an hour, the snow comes over your plow, and that's what's happening. It's not the high-speed barrel plow.
So if you're gonna put them on our other trucks that we got existing, the ones that wore out, then obviously what, you're gonna have to get rid of the old ones off them,
They're all rusted, either we reskin them or
scrap yard?
scrap them, yeah. So if we keep these other ones, then we can just put them on there.
Okay, so there is a plus side to this a little bit.
We will still probably use these other plows on,
Right.
they'll probably fit on the, what, 5-yarders?
Yeah, the 86, 89, and 88, all three of them trucks from Washburn County got these plows on them.
Yeah.
So then we don't wanna just give them back, so either we get something for them or we use them on the trucks we got.
Instead of buying the plows for the other trucks, we already have two now. That would fit on some of our
Cause
other
we got
trucks.
one truck right now, the plow is pretty thin, there's already holes going through it, so we're gonna have to reface it, so.
But if it's one of these, then okay to reface.
Which I mean, I don't know if any of you guys are in the plow industry or anything, but, you know, really, for what kind of plow it is, that ain't a real bad price. A new snowplow where your pickup's more than this.
Right. My thing is, I know what they're gonna say, if they go back and look at the bids on these trucks, they're gonna say, well, it was in your bid, you should have seen that, and I can see this game coming down the pipe.
But it's already too far down the road. I mean, that's
Right.
2 years ago.
Right, that's what I mean. So,
All of the new trucks are ordered with high speed plows.
Cause these are all state trucks. How many trucks do we need for the state routes? 4? Are we better off, when we get the next new one, just pull one of these off one of the state routes? Put it on,
Well, that's what we do, because the state helped pay for the truck that we actually have, the new truck, so we're trying to get the
newer trucks on the state.
All new trucks should stay on the state, anything, yeah, any new trucks that come through should go on the state, so we get
Go on the
reimbursed.
state first before they go into the
Yeah.
county.
Correct.
So then if we're doing a quote on these plows, is Monroe gonna be any cheaper?
They got a different system. Monroe-
So we'd have to change the whole thing out?
Yeah. Cause there was a lawsuit.
Well, that'd never be cheaper then.
You know, there was already a lawsuit between Monroe and Universal over, they can't follow the same design, copyright. So the plow that we do have already on the truck, all Universal, you pretty much gotta stay with Universal, otherwise you're gonna spend a lot of money pushing it all over. And if we were gonna do that, that was pretty close to, almost 20,000.
Is this something we gotta approve pretty soon? Or could we wait a little bit to see if we get the equipment fund up a little bit more? Or is it something if we order it, we're gonna have to wait 6 months, you know what I mean, is it pressing right now?
Well, that just is, we're heading into summertime now, so the way they told us it's just a plow, so it won't be too bad, they can take it down there and they can build them as they go, we can almost haul the frame down there on a trailer, we don't have to take the whole truck.
So it's
What do you
probably
mean
time
by
to
the
do it, so we ain't waiting for it in December.
so if they do it, why don't you see if they can just take a small chunk of down payment to get it started?
Right, yeah, don't pay for it till it works.
Right, don't pay wait till it's the end.
We can order it now, it's a purchase agreement.
It'll be billed out at the end. Once we do a purchase agreement, then it'll be billed out at the end. You know, like your other ones were.
Why do you gotta take the frame down?
It's just the barrel itself, the frame where the plow is connected, is just you're unpinning it, you're taking your hydraulic cylinder, your springs, and that whole front will come off of there. And then a new barrel will go on, you repin it, put your springs back on it, that's the only thing you're changing, you're not changing the whole frame, it's just the front barrel. We're keeping the frame part itself, that hooks onto the truck.
But shouldn't it be a different style frame, because this one would be considered a four-way, you're going to basically a two-way? I would think it'd be a different frame style.
We could still use the same frame whether it's four-way or two-way. So they say we could still use the same frame, why I did that, we're saving money. And still use
But
that
if we're
frame
gonna
to
use these
utilize it.
plows on another truck, then we're gonna be using a frame, another used frame that's probably wore out, to put these new street lights on. Are they gonna have to be revamped?
No, they're shot. The other frames we can update them, or there ain't a lot that wears out on them, but we can fabricate them or whatever, do maintenance on them to bring them up to specs if we have to in our shop, probably should go to a whole new frame.
I just don't wanna see it costing us more money down the road.
Otherwise it's gonna cost us a lot more than $11,000 if we get a whole new frame. That's what I said, to switch out the frames, the plow and everything, it was pretty close to $20,000.
Does anybody else got any questions on it?
So just to clarify, you're saying that there's no way a Monroe and a universal plow can be bolted onto the same frame?
No.
They got that old rack right up.
That's no difference between a Hannaford and a Meyer and all that.
Yeah.
You can't take a cage and put it on a can.
Depends, the skid steer,
Okay, other than.
the buckets all interchange pretty much.
Other than permit
That's what I wanna see happen.
Yeah, so if it's an attachment.
Yeah, they'll interchange.
Be nice.
I'll entertain a motion to approve purchase two. Is there more discussion on it, or?
I'll make that motion. You better get them ordered so you're not sitting like the blacktop patcher.
Any more discussion on it? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. A truck cross conveyor spreader quote.
So I put a sheet of the top right corner of that paper, yep, this mounts on the back of the truck, you put, it's for shouldering purposes, both of these, I got quotes on are you are able to put blacktop in the back, we had a stretch where we wanted to put some blacktop down. Basically, this is just, it's a lot more convenient to throw one of these on the back of the truck when we're shouldering, pulling up shoulders, fill the back of a dry and head down the road and kind of follow the grader along where it needs it. I know a lot of roads out there are, the shoulders are gone, so having something convenient like this where we wouldn't have to bring our actual shoulder machine out to do some of the smaller jobs, it's just a little bit more convenient.
This mounts on the back of the truck just like a sander almost?
Yes, just same thing. With that being said, so most of our setups are Monroe. I know our mechanics are basically gonna switch over everything to the mounts for Monroe, so if you were to go with Monroe, we wouldn't need to fabricate any mounts. It literally would just connect right to the back. Monroe also does have one in stock right now, Universal, they did not know. So Monroe's is $12,393, that's the quote, and then, Universal's was 11,229.
Well, it feed right out of the box.
It
doesn't
feed,
it?
yep, you fill up your box and then it'll feed in the back.
How much is Monroe again? Because that ain't, oh, here it is, I see it now,
Just like
sorry.
your sander on your dump truck, when you go salt sanding, it's just like that, except there's a rubber conveyor that goes on the back, and inside your truck with the chute.
No, 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 that's okay. So you said we're bidding the trucks up from Monroe though, but we're taking quotes from,
Well,
It's easier, cause there's a pin on the backside of the dump truck where the sanders go, we can get the kit, and we just change them over, cause all the others two pins is very easy looking.
it's a lot more of a convenient setup.
Monroe is,
Monroe is, yeah.
or Universal is more pain in the butt to take
Yes.
it off?
Yeah.
That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, if you're gonna spend more labor, another hour or whatever every time you put it on and off, well, that adds up too.
First truck would just be going on.
It can go on any of them,
That would be the truck there, so.
Any truck that's set up for a sander, we can put it on.
but the Monroe for right now, but the ones that don't have Monroe, we are in the process of switching them all over to Monroe, so at some point, it'll be able to fit on any of the trucks we want it to.
Yeah, we put them on the quad.
Yep.
Put them on anything.
Got, what's the limit on bid now, but I have to get bids out.
That was 15, wasn't it?
That's what the courthouse here. This is truck and equipment.
We were hiring for it.
Right.
Well, we check into it, make 100% sure before we order it too.
Okay, so I'll entertain the motion to approve the roll with that it meets all the specs that we don't have to bid out. So, have them check with Ashley before we purchase to make sure that we're under the amount bidding process.
I'll make that motion on the Monroe.
Any more discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Authorized to run ads for crushing recycled blacktop. I think we should come back to this, because we got opening crushing bids next. I mean, it depends on who we approve for the crushing bids, maybe they would be interested in doing it, cause they're gonna be at the bid anyways.
Right, that's why I
So-
put it on the agenda, that way we could.
But we'll come back to it, so we're gonna open the bids for the crushing now. Primary crushed gravel, 3 to 5 inch, half-inch asphalt aggregate. First, we got Go Out and Angle. I don't know, Scott, you or Sean wanna read these, cause you probably understand them more.
Yep.
go at is, only bidding on the primary side of the gravel, for 15,000 tons at $2.32 a ton. Should total 34,800.
What was it again?
What's that?
Read the total.
The total was 34,800.
You mean primary side of the gravel, just gravel, what,
Yeah.
3/4, what?
No, primary would be
Primary,
3 to 5
3 to
inch.
5.
The 3 to 5 inch on that, okay.
232 that was?
Yeah, 232 a ton.
Haas, for the same amount, for 15,000 ton, was $2.70 a ton. Total would be 40,500.
That's the primary.
That's for the primary.
Same specs?
Yep, same
Okay.
specs. Alright, we only got one bid on the half-inch minus asphalt aggregate, and that's Haas. For the half-inch aggregate minus, is $6 a ton. They're pulling the screen sand and extra sand off of that stuff that we're doing. So you got that 10,000, we figure roughly it's gonna be around that 10,000 ton of sand that we can use for, wash sand, for salt sand in the roads, and plus also running it back to the plant. So that, by pulling that off, that's $3 a ton on that, so, for the asphalt aggregate though, it was 180,000 for that.
How much was this guy?
180,000 total.
And we get our sand out of it too, you're saying?
Yep, with the reject coming on top of that, would have to be additional 30,000.
Another 30,000 over the 180.
Yeah, because we're pulling our 10,000 ton. We figured it'd be pretty close to 10,000 reject sand off of that.
And then that sand will be good, it's not gonna have to go through another process?
Well, later on, we'll probably wash it. Then we can, instead of buying material from Haas all the time, you know, we could wash this material, we could also use, because we buy a pile of sand for for salt sand, plus we buy it for the asphalt plant. Too, so we can also just wash the sand and be right on our pit floor.
We can do that?
No,
Or we're gonna hire them to come in and wash it?
You have to hire.
And what do we pay now for wash sand?
For him. I think it's around $4.90 a ton for them to deliver that to us, so it'll be roughly around 49,000 for the same amount.
So you got 19,000 left to wash the sand, you're gonna have to be able to do it for less than that to save any money.
Right, cause that's what I'm taking, West County reject sand, whatever, for the price to do that, delivered, before $1.90, is in 49,000. So, the screen sand that we're pulling off is 10,000, we're asking for 30,000 ton, material, but we figure pretty close to about 10,000
problem is we don't know what it's gonna cost to wash that sand again, $10,000 a ton. I'm having a hard time figuring you're gonna get it done for less, what I've seen for bids already, you're gonna get it done for any less than 19,000. And then, is this whole process making this 180,000 number higher by being they gotta come in and set up the screen off the sand?
They may
Do the
do-
1/2 inch aggregate.
To do the 1/2 inch aggregate, otherwise we gotta separate the whole entire thing, we gotta separate everything. This here is kinda the same mix design of basically what Scott Epps had, but we broke it down. Had that other guy come in and look
I
at it.
show it to those guys over there, make sure they see a chance to see it. So
I don't know,
they
to
can
me,
get the
that's,
deals out of it.
the 1/2 inch minus $6 a ton seems high.
I don't know where it's at right now, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's about $8 a ton to buy it and have it,
Right.
$8 a ton in what?
in its best delivery.
I think it's a poor time to do it, maybe the timing.
Well, see, I'm wondering if the,
Yeah, we're on it.
They're crushing
We got enough for
I'm wondering if the
everybody.
screening the sand off is driving that price up.
Yeah, we have to pull the sand down, though, if we get too much sand in our material, in our 1/2 inch minus, we get too much sand. We can't run it through the plant, we're gonna have to change it again.
But they're setting up an extra conveyor to do this, for the sand, to screen off the sand the way you want
Right
it.
off the screen deck, they'll bring another conveyor, they'll kick it off to the side, we'll be on.
But my thought is we're paying for that.
Yeah, and we gotta pay for kicking it off and do another pile, otherwise we gotta hire another machine to come in and separate the whole pile again.
Is it unusual to say that you let these two bids like that in one bid?
Yeah, it was, it's the same one we had the last time we got.
The only one is I think Amtrak business.
Yeah, Hollis ran this one last year, same, or not last year, year before it did. They're the one that did the 1/2 inch minus, so this, he better do the same way he did last time.
They sold the grindings.
Does anybody know what our price was last year?
The grindings off the other.
For this 1/2 inch aggregate?
Yeah.
Last time we crushed,
Did we do any last year?
we didn't crush. Last time we crushed was 22.
22?
Oh,
I'm trying to find it.
oh, right there's this, well, that's primary.
Yeah, very. Everything is up. Probably lucky again, if you don't use it again. I'll give you a call, it's close to 10,000, about 30,000 tons.
Yeah, that's not real.
It is.
Well, when you only get one or two bids now, but you do it, it's very.
I don't know if you have to-
He's got a number that I have.
You'd have to crush it and sell it.
Yeah, well, it's right next door to them, so.
Yeah.
Have we done this all the same?
She's the same as the big guy.
Well, it's here, all going.
Ooh,
Transfer outfit.
he's the same guy who got the big bucket, 4 or 5.
We didn't do any 1/2 inch in 22, we did 3/4.
She beat it.
The same.
3/4 done in 22. 3/4 was 380.
Well, we go on Sunday.
Like 3 bids.
And Bob Eagles used to run the highway department. Years ago, when I was there.
Oh, sure.
Then he went out.
First of all, how much are we gonna need for this year's season? How much 1/2 inch we got?
We got
left?
enough for hopefully the rest of this year, we got 25,000 tons in that by the plant right now. That's what Brinker was figuring that we got up there, and
What happened to that system that we bought to actually have the files surveyed?
That's what it was.
I know we bought a,
did you got that, can you get that on your phone or no?
I don't have anything for the Scott pit. I only have stuff for the Murphy. It's
And
on-
Andy should have flew that one, or not flew it, but should have surveyed that file.
So,
so the 1/2 inch is what we need for the blacktop.
Correct. The 1/2 inch minus.
Wash sand in 21
12
was
millimeters.
was $5 a cubic yard. Screen sand,
How much three-quarter we, I don't know how much three-quarter we got up there.
I'm not an admin on it, so I can't see what the other plants are, just the ones that I have measured. But we can get that number to you.
If we got enough to run this season, are we gonna spend $180,000 to have it sit up there for next year? First of all, where's the, just the 2-inch or half-inch minus, where are we gonna get the money to pay for it?
Out of our, bid fund.
Bid fund is negative, that'd come out of the blacktop fund, wouldn't it? I would assume, cause it's for the blacktop plant, half-inch minus. If I read the blacktop, we're in the hole on that one.
yep.
That's what I see.
So, right there, we ain't got no money to pull it from. Half-inch minus. This gotta come out of the blacktop fund, I would assume, wouldn't it? It's for the blacktopping. It's not for road construction, cause we used to record it.
Correct. Yeah, you're,
Well, if you did that, Scott, you'd have a hard time getting to the back to the, profit margin this whole year, but.
That would put the whole blacktop plant even farther in the hole. That's gonna sit there a whole year and a half.
Yeah, it's retail percent if you don't get it.
Oh, yeah. You gotta make black.
How much sand do we got left since it wasn't a real bad year for next, winter?
you have plenty.
Sounds good.
So now we're making sand that we don't quite need yet, that we might need sand next year,
Well,
but might not.
one pile was gonna be washed, the lesser amount was gonna be washed, cause the other pile that he had pulled off was pretty close to 20,000 tons of sand that he had.
Yeah, so he has a 10,000 and a 10,000 of street sand.
Yeah, the one is gonna be washed sand, that later on the plan is to wash it, then we can mix our sand right there as we go, cause one pile is a non-wash, it's still got all the clay to it.
Oh, so, okay.
So basically washing, you're pulling all the clay and that other stuff off and you're getting clean sand.
So one is passing the NO4 sleeve test. Seed test, whatever it is. That's $4.90 ton for me. Just the regular sand, non-specific reject sand would be $3 a ton. Which would be used in the blacktop plant then?
Yeah.
The non-reject?
Basically, it's gonna have a little bit more stone to it, so, he's not pulling it down as far, separating everything out of it.
We have enough half-inch and green sand to run this year for blacktop.
Be really close. And if it starts getting too close, we can always visit this down the road. I know Haas had some, like, 8 mm sitting over at the next door there, we might be able to get some of that. But right now, basically, our half-inch minus is the same size as a 12 mm.
Half-inch, you think cost more here, just because it's so sandy? To get your half-inch minus?
Well, if we're pulling it out, some places have a lot of rock, some don't,
Right, every pit's different, but I know the least pits are a lot more sandy than
They're saying,
considering your Hawkins and your
Yeah.
up north pits.
but we start doing it at another pit, and start hauling and everything else, and by the looks of this, we're almost better off to just buy it.
Right. $1,350 loads, when you do it by the ton.
On which one, sand?
The half-inch.
Yeah.
I agree, if we had to buy it, you're paying, it's about 22 ton per load.
Cause none of this, to our knowledge, is gonna get used up there, I mean,
22 to 24, it varies.
Tim's not getting any of this.
Late 20, 24, 25, maybe bucks.
But I think M, they're gonna pull out of Hawkins bid for that.
County M job is gonna be done by Monarch.
Right.
We ain't doing any of it.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about that at all. Supplying any, okay. So all we have this year is Pete, right?
22 right now, paid roughly 14,000 tons of blacktop there, ADF building, rough paving, overlaying. We'll be close, we'll make,
What about the primary, what's the primary stock will be?
primary, we got nothing. There's absolutely none in this guy. That's why we're probably gonna put it back here, cause we use that for culvert work too.
The 3 to 5.
For when we dig down the culvert, put in new culverts, we start building it back up, we get primary in here to help block the road up and settle.
You want table these to make a decision next month after you get more figures back, and do a, more of a figure of how much blacktopping we're gonna be doing? See
How
that-
long are the bids good for? They should be good yet, right?
It's not 45 days, the date is a quote, so March 25th. 45 days from there.
March 25th, so we're already 20 days.
You, for sure, we need primary.
Primary
Quotes
for
will be
sure
good
we
next
need.
month. I mean, they can honor them if they want, but if it's saying 45 days on the quote, we're already 20 days into it. Give or take.
So at most you should do 3 to 5. Since we got nothing.
If we think we're close on the other, I just hold
Well,
off on that,
I
like you
kinda-
said, and I'd go with the 3 to 5, the primary bid, and done with that.
Given that, I think the half-inch minus should come out of the blacktop one, just because it's specifically made for blacktop.
I agree, that's our.
Not, like, you know, the other gravel, the 3/4 and primary is gonna get built for maintenance runs. That's the way it works, right?
Emily,
Emily?
I think he's throwing that at you.
I know.
Maybe we need a history as to where that's been coming from.
Right, cause we don't
Yeah.
use the half-inch minus for nothing else, so in order to recoup our money from the half-inch minus, that's when we go out for blacktop.
Cause the other half inch minus, we are billing that for, back to our blacktop prices to pay for it, so yeah.
Right, and there's no money in the blacktop fund.
Well, it's just it, that's gonna get backed up even deeper. But, again, we need it.
But the 3 to 5 comes out of just the general, I mean, or
Sure,
somewhere.
maintenance.
Maintenance, road maintenance, or whatever.
Will that come out of the gravel pit fund? Right? Or does it get built into the highway maintenance?
I'd have to get back to you on that one, look into it.
That comes somewhere.
Oh, yeah, make some new categories.
So I guess we have to table the, half-inch in the street sand for today. Decision we're gonna do that.
Probably almost have to do new bids,
Yeah, we'd have to do, not accept.
if it's 45 days.
Yep, and then approve the 5-inch minus breaker run.
I'll make a motion for bullet needle for that,
For the primary?
yeah,
Okay, do the primary first. For the
if
second?
that's right with you.
Any more discussion on it?
From what budget?
I thought we had a gravel pit line though.
That's right.
We did.
You have it,
But they, I fact.
it come out of our sale of materials fund.
know we budgeted for 80,000 ton of blacktop. When we did the budget. I know there's guy was up and set that up.
Be able to figure it out, or we can come back to it.
Was that 80,000 ton with or without before we put the bond in place?
Maybe before we set up budget.
I mean, you had that much to budget out without,
No, that would be with the bond, wouldn't it?
I think it was with the bond.
2024, our big year, 3 million.
Look back at 22 when you crushed last time.
I thought we did.
Yeah, there's a gravel pit.
I think some of this got messed up too when we took over those pits from forestry, didn't it? Did that affect some of this? What one was it?
Oh, that's right, we did take 3, didn't we?
And I don't know how that ever worked, but some of them had material in them already, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it must have been, the value of that material must have been transferred from highway to forestry, wasn't it?
I hope
I don't think it was just a gimme.
We got our piles in our forestry, have their piles in our, now we just got control over them.
So, that was another question too, I remember Forrest was talking about getting some more crush too.
Yep.
So they should be contacting us on that anyway. And then,
So,
not
yeah.
having them bid it out.
Yeah, right now, I believe we got enough material sitting in our pit up there that they're gonna need, so. I told them to bid that out later on once they use it up. And we got enough sitting in our pit for the projects that they got going.
Yeah, how is that gonna work going forward if all these pits now are county pits?
They gotta buy it from highway.
Right.
Material,
At the cost,
at the cost of the stumpage. and-
so they shouldn't be bidding it out, right? They should
No.
be talking to us ahead of time to quote.
I think
to-
they are though, ain't they? They
Yeah.
have been in contact with you guys?
Yep.
So their needs are met with this, they don't need any of this 3 to 5, I mean, we're crushing enough to meet their needs too, or this will be another pit?
They have some 3 to 5 left. I don't know the exact tonnage, cause it's all spread out up there, but, for their projects, they should have enough, or we have enough for them to buy it from us.
Okay.
Cause we got some W pit too.
Yep.
We got some in Murphy and W pit.
I just emailed.
Everybody's fine with accepting the bid as primary, we just don't know which fund it's coming out of yet. Highway budget? Is everybody fine with that? Or do you guys wanna figure out where which
We
budget?
know which budget that's coming out of, where it's coming from, we just can't throw out randomly highway.
You want Sky down here?
We did it before, it's been done in the past, so.
Probably save some time if she can tell us where to pull that from, because who knows what, yeah. No offense against Emily, she might look here for 5 hours and not know
Right.
what, there might have been a swippy swap done in that budget or whatever else.
So can,
Yeah, we really can't be spending money unless we know what budget's coming out.
Just ask her to come down.
Then we can get to the bottom of this, blacktop half-inch too, what we're talking about. I mean, at least we'll know the answer.
Well, they don't have an estimate of how much we have up there.
Right, but at least we know in the future where they pulled it from, at least.
Right.
How that went.
eyes off, but Jane's gonna run down.
Okay. Can I pick the next day to take off? Yeah. Yeah, that half inch just seems awful expensive, like you said. I mean, I get it, we're taking it down another quarter inch. But like, some of those bids were like under $4 for 3/4 back in 22.
I feel like they almost might have known they were one of the only ones to bid on it, so they hiked it up a little bit there too. I mean, that's a very high price.
Well,
I
that's,
think you can buy it for about $8 or $9. That's the limit.
yeah. Might just wanna put out a bid for somebody.
We just need so many.
But the problem is they own all the pits and pretty much all the rest of the pits in the county on top of it that we don't, so. What's gonna be next? We gotta buy a crusher now?
No.
Huh? That was a joke.
We had one.
That was a joke. That kind of, that asphalt plant's coming off.
When you sold it, what do you think was gonna happen?
Hi. You guys had a question about gravel?
So we're approving the gravel bids,
Okay,
primary, which fund would that come out of?
well, when it's gravel, it just goes into the inventory. So like,
We're approving crushing, so that would go, the money to pay for it would come out of inventory.
yeah, so like that would be like carried on the balance sheet as an inventory account, and then as it's depleted,
It gets paid back.
it takes that balance down as it gets charged out to other jobs. So like really the true expense would be whatever jobs you're using it on.
So what if we have excess, you know, we're looking at a bid for roughly 35,000 to crush a certain material. What we wanna know is when the crushing job's done, you know, what fund do we need to designate a fund here as to what it's gonna come out of, or just say?
No, it would
part of
just
the
be,
budget?
it would just be, you know, carried on your inventory balance and then depleted from there to whatever expense accounts, whatever budgets it actually hits.
Okay.
So sale of gravel?
No, it would be gravel inventory.
But that still
Like,
doesn't.
oh, that's what it would hit the revenue on the, like,
When we go to pay the crusher people to come in and crush it,
yeah,
Where
that,
do we
What
pay them
budget?
from?
that would get coded to gravel inventory.
Do we have a gravel inventory budget?
Well, it's not, it's a balance sheet account, so it's not like, you don't budget for, you budget for your projects, you don't, it's kind of, it's like the county car fleet, when you purchase it, it gets carried as an asset, and then the expense hits as you depreciate it, as you purchase, fuel and everything else for it.
Yeah, cause when we did the budget, you know, me and Sky worked on that, we put in there for 80,000 tons of material to crush. We made,
And that part, I mean, cause that would, usually when we just hits that inventory, but if you know you're gonna be using it on certain projects, that's where you would budget your expense. Isn't that
yeah,
how it?
cause when you do your inch and a quarter, you do your 3/4, you got all the piles sitting in the pit, you don't know where you're gonna use them, so.
Right, so that's carried on the, yeah,
So basically, you're sitting on the inventory until we use it.
mm-hmm.
But I'm still confused, where does it come from to pay who we give the bid to? For the crushing?
It gets charged to the inventory balance, but it's really carried as like an asset.
Okay, but what budget do we have to pull it out of to pay it?
It comes out of your,
Highway? Just
oh, yeah,
highway,
yeah, but
wherever-
it's, yeah, it's
Wherever
highway.
whatever account's got $34,800, that's where we're gonna pull it from?
Well, I mean, highway's carrying a negative cash balance, so essentially the, you know, behind the scenes, the general fund's gonna float it, but,
can we say that? Out of the general?
but it's going to get charged to gravel inventory.
Alright, so the next one we have a question on is, alright, we're gonna crush this half inch minus aggregate, and it's specifically used only for the blacktop plant.
Okay.
It's not used for basically any other projects. Now that should come out of the blacktop.
When it gets used, that would also be an inventory balance, so there's multiple, like, we were just working on closing entries last week, you know how we had those adjustments for the gravel? When we, purchase it, it's carried as inventory for gravel, and then when it gets used, so, where you're budgeting for your expense for gravel, and for the use at the blacktop plant is where you're budgeting for your blacktop operations, does that?
Yep. You guys
So,
understanding it?
Really when you're looking at being able to purchase it, you're looking at your cash balance, which, it gets covered by behind the scenes through the general fund, but I wouldn't put that in the minutes. But it's going to get the expense account, or it's not really an expense account, it's inventory.
Okay.
Basically cost, or, cost of goods for resale, cause that's really what you're going to be using the gravel for.
So in the future, do we need to have a budget separate in here for crushing operations?
Well, no,
Or
I
when we
mean,
bid
and when you
these
said,
projects?
when you bid the projects,
Well, no,
it
sorry,
should be,
I misspoke there, that's making it worse. So when we put it out for bids on materials
Mhm.
in our pits,
Yep.
we don't know what that's gonna be. I mean, he knows roughly what he's gonna want for yardage, but we don't know what they're gonna be until we get the quotes back for crushing the product. But I still am a little lost as to where this is gonna come from yet.
Well, it's gonna get charged through to all of the jobs.
At some point.
It's kinda
I know.
like when you purchase fuel too, we have purchased fuel
So
for the
in a
tanks up
sense,
there.
it's almost like we're borrowing money just to do it.
Well,
If we don't have it built in the budget to do it, somewhere is my point.
where it's built in the budget is the projects that you're going to, that are budgeted for this year.
Well, but we might, when we bring somebody in, like the last time somebody crushed was 22.
Mhm.
So that might go on over 2-3 years.
Right.
We might even stretch some of this product into the next year
Mhm.
yet.
Mhm.
So how do you know that far ahead, because some of these projects are unforeseen at the time you crush it.
Right.
So when somebody comes in, we wanna crush a big amount, so they're not
Mhm.
coming back in every year.
Yeah, so
In
that's
some
why you
cases.
spread that expense out over, yeah, you might purchase pay for gravel to be crushed for 3 years worth of projects this year. But that's why it hangs out on that balance sheet until it gets charged to those projects, so that you're not incurring that entire expense in 1 year.
Okay, I'm getting very close.
It's kinda like the fuel, when you purchase fuel for the tanks out at highway, you might spend $100,000 in fuel, but you don't charge that out right away, you charge it out as people come and pump it, as people use it, so same thing with the gravel, it gets charged out as you use it on projects. And along with the stuff at the blacktop plant, like, yes, it's all related directly to the blacktop plant, but you wanna be able to charge the actual cost of each job, so that's why you track your material separately with each of those.
Okay, well now we know on the half inch too. It doesn't have to go to highway until it's used for highway, it sits there in inventory. Or it doesn't have to be charged to asphalt until it's used.
And some of the stuff you guys purchase, like forestry uses for their trails too, or some of the stuff that, the gravel that's crushed isn't used all for highway purposes. Some of it's used for town, some of it's used for,
Well, and I still wonder if some of that's money in this a little bit too, but, yeah. Because now with us running the forestry pits, they're gonna have to come to us and we're gonna end up paying for this until they decide to use it, if they need some material.
but
And then
it's
you can't
pooled
fill it
cash.
out until they use it.
Correct. But it's pooled cash, so it's really not affecting your income statement until it is used.
Okay.
So like, highway right now has negative pooled cash, and that's because of, the blacktop plant paying for that debt service, and, other things, but, the rest of the general fund has enough cash to cover everything, so it just gets kinda moved around behind the scenes, and so you'll notice on our financial statements, we're not showing a negative cash balance for highway, but there's an amount due to general fund for that cash balance that, highway's in the hole for. That makes.
questions on? And then we have a motion to accept a lot for the primary. And a second, any more discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we'll move into half-inch minus the green sand.
You don't think about the other question.
Oh, yes. They both come out of the thing.
No, the bidding.
No, we heard. Yeah, we forgot that one.
Table around, take back off and see if we can put up my stand up. Might be able to do it cheaper.
So what do we wanna do with the half-inch minus? You believe that we have enough for,
Well, we don't need it, why would we buy it?
And the other thing I'd like to look into is what's the sand really gonna cost us when we're done? Cause it's gonna cost us the same as buying it. I guess I have a question as to whether or not, it seems like they're charging us a little extra to set up too, besides just for the sand, the 30,000. It almost, I can get the feeling like we're gonna charge a little bit more per ton on the half inch too. I mean, that's quite a jump. Like you said, $6. $10,000 tons is a lot of material, and then by the time we wash that, I'm just having a hard time believing we're gonna wash it for less than even 15,000.
so the stuff we're gonna wash, Scott, would be the $4
It's the reject sand,
Yeah, but they both say reject sand.
or screen sand or whatever.
They both say screen, but one says reject sand non-specific.
The one non-specific means it's gonna have a little bit more rock to it, so when they wash it, they can kick out chips for the plant, or if we.
So that would
Chip
be,
sealing, or,
they would wash that,
yeah, instead of separate smaller rocks into sand, they would separate. Basically, when wash
one was
plant,
$3 a ton to make the sand for 10,000 tons. Then there's $4.90 for 10,000 tons of screen sand.
that's screening everything out of it. Yeah. That's pulling all the rocks, that's pulling everything out of
The
that sand.
100% is?
Yeah. So that when you, that'd be just nothing but screen sand, the other one's gonna have a little bit of.
So we wouldn't have to wash the 100%.
No, well, if we wanna use it for, if you wanna use it for our 50/50 mix for our salt sand, because that's what we do, our screen sand is full of clay. We buy wash sand from Haas to mix with it, our 50/50 mix, because if we use our screen sand for hauling salt sand or for the winter roads, it plugs up our augers. We can't run it through the auger. So we always have to buy wash sand from somebody or do something. And sometimes we buy wash sand to run through the plant for when we're making mix design for making our microwave.
But if you wash this sand of ours all the way, then you don't have to buy any at all, you're saying?
Right. If we wash it, then we don't have to buy any.
I just don't see them bringing a wash plant in though for 10,000 tons.
I don't know what they charge
For
for
10,000 tons? You can set up a wash plant. That's more complex than a crushing operation.
wash plant. Is it won't take too long to come in, set up, and do wash it.
Scott, how much does it cost a ton when you buy it to mix it with the salt?
I get that slip this year, I wanna, don't hold me to it, but I wanna say it was around 7 something a ton last year to buy it. That's not, that's us buying it and trucking it and loading it and everything, but it's $7 a ton to buy it off their pile.
Cause if you did run short, even in the summertime, you could buy it if you had to.
Yeah, great
Right.
next door, yeah.
We have quite a bit left of wash sand now.
We have no wash sand, we got screen sand, we got a pile of screen sand up there yet. That's 100% clean.
So do we have everything we need really to make our blacktop?
This year, we be real close on the half inch minus, but we should be able to make it. Unless we get a lot more jobs. But we could pull measurements on the pile again, just to have it.
Do you have some bids out with any townships or anything?
We're working on, overlay and, we lost the bid to,
I don't know if we lost it yet or not, but we did bid on Washington. We have, got it confirmed yet if we got it or Bob got it yet, but, or Monarch. For one township of Washington. That was, either one of them ain't real major, they're just a couple mile jobs, so.
Yeah, I guess we'll get back into that, but what do we wanna do with the half inch minus and the screen sand?
We don't need it, why would we buy it?
Did we just double it up next year and get more of it?
Yeah.
If we got plenty for even next winter,
You
you know, we're paying for an inventory that we really don't need right now.
We can visit it later on this year or two if we start getting too full.
So, we need to entertain a motion to not accept any half inch minus bids.
The other
or
thought to
screen
this
sand.
too, if we put out a bid for bigger amounts of quantities, we might draw in some other bidders.
Right. It's not that much tonnage, 2,000 tons, would be.
I don't remember how many,
1,600 dump truck loads of it.
well, I don't even remember how many ton they can run an hour. I mean, I used to do that 30 years ago, I don't remember what we ran an hour. It's a lot.
Yeah.
You can run a lot through a crusher in an hour.
If you get them here for 2-3 days, they're gonna charge more than if they're gonna be here for a week to week and a half.
Right.
They wanna set up and run, not
is,
set up and run for 2 days and then take a day to move somewhere else.
It's like blacktopping. If you come and do a quarter mile, it's gonna cost you probably as much to set up and do 2 miles. I mean, just the showing up, you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
are we able to reach out to, like, or when this goes out on bid? Like, cause I noticed A1 or Stelter, they never, bid on it, can I reach out to them and let them know that it's out on bid?
Yeah.
Okay, cause that A1 has a really
A1.
nice,
He
one that
wanted,
they-
didn't know about it, I contacted him.
Okay.
Reach out as far as you want.
Yep,
You never know, and the other thing is, if you know someone coming through, like Adams used to come through up here once in a while and do some jobs.
Yep.
And they crush for somebody
We could tell
else,
them-
that's a different deal, then we could, you know,
We could tell them that, you know, and encourage them to bid, but we can't tell them what they're.
Cause I gave, I sent it to Stout, A1, Oz, Bob, there was a guy come all the way from over by Green Bay bid on it. They come from all over Platteville. So there were quite a few that came to look, but
they didn't,
I think the amount's so little that I don't.
Could be.
The move in and setup cost.
That's what I'd say.
Add more charges and everything.
So I entertain a motion to not accept any half inch asphalt aggregate bids. There's a second. I'll second. Any more discussion on it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries. This next one we'll have to authorize to run ads for crushing recycled blacktop.
there ain't a lot there, I was hoping that possibly whoever's coming in to crush the primary, that we could send it to their crush while they're there. But,
You gotta get it down a lot smaller than 3 to 5 though, don't you?
yeah, they'll have their screens, or they can tighten up and get down a lot further. They throw screens in and bring back around and keep crushing it until we get down to like a 3/4 or whatever.
What would we use it for?
25,000.
We could use it for, we use a lot of it for like patching over top of culverts, helping bring in soft spots, fixing them back up. We could run to the plant too yet. So, we got multiple places we can use it.
We have to put it on a bid either.
Yeah, but once you crush it, then it won't set up again, will it? You know.
No, we got piles on our truck right now, the big pile that we use for our wrap.
Cause I know
To
that's
feed
like
back
a
to the
great
plant.
big block now, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we can put a pile of this in there, you just take a cable or you can get it.
bought the grinding
authorizing
ducks.
to bid it out. How, you don't even have an estimate on tonnage?
I'd have Google measure it again, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be around.
So we have measurements, it's just I can't get them on my phone, so we can get back a hold of you right when we get back, I can get those numbers if any of you want them.
Well, we kinda need that in the bid process, bid it out for the tonnage, just, we authorize.
What do you think roughly it is? We're not gonna hold you to it, but I mean, so for when you put out the bid, at least we have an idea what you think you might bid for. But if you honestly don't remember, then don't give us a number.
Yeah.
If you gave within 5,000. Oh, you're thinking too long, go ahead, give me a number.
Yeah.
You're thinking too long, I don't even want a number, cause it's gonna be 10 either way.
It's gonna be a smaller number, cause the file ain't really that big. You know, but we're trying to get to add into another file.
So is there a motion to approve advertising the recycling blacktop? You made the motion?
Well, hang on, she might have, what there is for recycled blacktop, I can fit right now. Do you have that in yours?
Not the stuff that we got crushed, right, it's a pile that we haul back from jobs that are sitting there, it's gotta get run through the crusher to be put in the pile, so this is,
Just unprocessed, yeah.
it's a non-crushed pile.
Well, it don't hurt to put out a bid.
No.
It just costs us an ad to pay for it, and I mean, but they're gonna put some rough tonnage with it when they put it out.
Yeah.
And if they don't get anybody to apply for it, then we.
Estimated tonnage on it before you bid it out.
Okay.
John made the motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any more discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carries.
On the bid on it? She needs to know when we want this completed by, cause that in our packet doesn't have a date to it.
Could be before the next highway meeting.
No, when do you want this crushing done? When do you want it completed by, so I can run that in the ad.
The yards they gotta look up.
What was the last crushing date?
It was July 1st, but I'd push that back, cause that might have got a couple of these guys too, not to.
It's not that it has to be done, that we need for probably this year, so what, by September 1st? Really, if it's crushed by the end of the summer?
I would
I would say October.
Okay.
You're still pretty good construction age.
It gives anybody that wants to do it time to do it.
So we should make it
Completion by October 1st, so.
20% bottom weight and make it.
You're fine with that?
Yeah.
Very close to that. The update on the lawn mowing at the county shop and Warehouser.
County shop is being mowed by maintenance this year, Warehouser is gonna be mowed by the forestry.
Did you have an estimate and cost on that?
They come out and looked at it and said it'd be not a problem. They didn't really give us a cost on it, they came out and said we could do it.
Both departments.
It's not like they could send their college kids out or whatever to mow stuff, so.
It's gonna cost us something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna be free.
$16,000 lawnmower and then.
Well, no, right,
$25
no.
an hour down.
Right.
I agree, but
You still need to find out what that hourly is and what you're gonna be billed.
we still need to plan on dealing with it.
Cause I met Gary out there, Gary looked at it and said, yeah, we can mow it, how much? I'm not really for sure. They should
You have
take
to
it
find
from
out
there.
from finance, you have to find out from finance what they bill out for maintenance per hour.
They said it would probably be about a half hour to an hour to mow.
Then they have to find out what forestry is gonna charge.
No,
Ice cream cone and
no, they ain't gonna do that.
Ice cream cone.
There should be a set rate.
It's gonna be their hourly rate that they bill themselves for doing the parks or whatever,
yeah.
so that would be my assumption, you're gonna get billed the same, which is fine, it's staying in-house. That's a good thing, it's staying in-house. I mean, even if it's $5 more an hour, then, but this way your guys can be out doing other things than going on to someone and fix the lawnmower.
Alright, next we have the PPE allowance employees.
Right now, we're giving all of our employees $300 a year, for their work boots, jackets, stuff like that, anything that we need for work, we have $300 a year of that. Anymore with the price of boots and everything going up so high, $300 ain't quite cutting it anymore. You know, a pair of boots, good pair of boots is only run you $300.
You sound as bad as the sheriff's department right now.
I'm not gonna.
They come in here with $300 shoes and every single pair I see in finance costs exactly the same for the same
I've
place.
got a set of shoes on that I've had for 4 years now, and I do just.
Not Walmart boots.
But you don't wear them in oil and blacktop though.
Well, but still.
That I can see adding to the wear and tear on their boots. But
They're black, yeah, they're just, the patching buggies, all that, they're going through them, I don't know, do we offer maybe uniforms?
what's
Yeah.
cost of uniforms? Don't know.
Was I understand now?
Uniforms for who?
That's maintenance, not maintenance, shop.
We're just talking shop?
No, shop gets the uniform.
Oh, I see shop getting
It's
uniforms.
actually in here somewhere.
Cintas is the same one that does our rugs, so how do you know it's just for the uniform?
Either one.
They do a separate invoice, like,
Uniform,
I pull up
uniform
your-
shirt,
whatever. 65,
65, 40.
Everybody in the field.
That's per month.
that's the
Safety
3 guys on there, but
jackets,
like,
everyone
just do,
because
and one guy, an
they're
average,
not cheap
you know, here it depends on what kind of pants they're getting, you know, they got cargo pants, jeans, there might be a third one that they offer, but, you know, one guy's at $14 to $15 per person, that's for nine each, so that'd be 2 weeks worth of uniform.
So roughly, you're saying roughly $7 a week?
Yeah.
Per
Depending on
individual?
which pants they're getting, for sure.
what's the high?
Cargo pants?
We'll just say, what's the high end of it?
Say 8 plus 6, $14.
What, for 2 weeks?
Yeah, that's
So $1 a
9.
day?
That's 9 of them, you know, you got your 4, and then you have an extra set.
What happens when they get evicted, right?
Most of the time they fix them for free. I know, yeah, Cintas will just either gets you a new pair, or they throw a patch on them. Same with the high vis shirts, they get too dirty, they just send you a new one.
Yeah, the outside workers would need to hide their
Yeah.
shirts.
Yeah.
Instead of the ones like the shop.
They got class 3 button up, just a simple shirt like that and some jeans. Is what I was kinda thinking for them. It's just something that, you know, you talk to them, you get them together, and I understand, you know, some of them aren't getting as, obviously as dirty as the mechanics, but they're still out there. You know, a couple of our hot mix guys, they had to throw away a pair of jeans last Thursday, cause he either burnt them with the torch, when they were working the barrel, or, whatnot, welding. And same with the guys out there getting oil and everything on their clothes.
I don't disagree with clothing.
Where's the money?
I don't know, we've been spending a lot here today, it's somewhere.
Do they have to buy them from a certain company or?
They
They
lease
got-
them, basically you lease them or rent them, whatever,
Yeah.
you wear them, then when you're done, you gotta give them back to them.
How many people we have?
I believe there's 21 or 22 road employees, or, no, there'd be less than that, 'cause
20.
Damn chips, go through a pair of pants really fast, a pair of shoes too.
No, it's 14 for every 2 weeks, so guys will figure, let's just say $30 a month per employee that they're gonna have. Is what I'm hearing. That times 22 would be, $660 a month.
Times a year.
600 times 12 is
8,000 a
72.
year.
8,000 a year, give or take. I don't disagree with the clothing though, I mean, I've been in places too where the companies paid for clothing because you get dirty, so.
Probably ran into where I've seen before is that some guys, you rent the pants and they never wear them because they don't like it,
Right.
or this or that. If you started with the shirts first, and made them a high vis type material, then you could make it mandatory from a safety issue. They
Say
have
Rusk
to have.
County Highway Department,
Same as what Chippewa County would have.
They get the patches.
Yeah, they, like, I had my patch with Rusk County Highway Department, then your name, I guess we, you know, they wouldn't need their names on there, they could just have a Rusk County patch. Well, I mean, even though their, vests that they wear don't have anything on them, you know, it's just their high vis. So that would save money in the, I don't know what it would come out to be, but.
I think you should bring it back next month and figure out what it's gonna cost for the year,
Okay.
and what the impact's gonna be.
And break it down from shirts and pants.
And go both ways, high and low end, and
If we're gonna pay for something, then half of them don't wanna use it.
Absolutely, yeah, I totally agree, it's not worth it if they're not gonna wear it.
That's what them high visibility jackets cost. To use in the winter time, like you would.
Yeah,
Good one?
for a good one.
Yeah.
Carhartt's $150 probably for a nice one, you know,
You
and
wear it a lot.
But now, when we gave them the $300, what did that all entail from a safety standpoint?
They used to give us $200 or $100 for boots. When you want to buy a pair of work boots, you hand in the receipt, you get $100, whatever for that. The other ones was jackets and, summer jackets, winter jackets we gave them, and now we give them nothing.
Did we have a truck that comes around with them safety boots or whatever?
No, we usually got a couple of people to bring them in,
Wherever you can get them.
So right now, they buy their own jackets with that $300 also, correct?
jackets,
Yes.
boots and everything.
their jeans, if they want, you know.
What about the high vis shirts and stuff?
That all comes out of, that'd be that 300, if they want them, otherwise we supply the vests, all vests.
So they have a vest.
The vest is hard hat.
Hard
And
hat,
if their
safety
vests are bad,
glasses.
you give them a new one, I mean.
Yep,
Are they safety approved, you know?
yes, yep.
They're just, the other thing is maybe I should know this a little bit more, but does the maintenance people with the forestry, they don't have clothing laws, do they?
Well,
No, but I just.
maintenance is getting very close to people, I believe.
I think they've got uniforms, maintenance does now.
Okay. Well, no, but I mean, as long as you approve what they buy, that's a big thing.
And I can definitely see the shop having it.
Fair shop, or we get to the left?
Yep, trust is basically.
If you're all chipping your boots and your pants, take a beat.
Well, get you
Or all over.
But I'd like to see some pictures of what we're gonna, get some, cause it needs to
We
be,
need some prices
and some pictures
costs.
and
Okay.
ideas on shirts and
Okay,
costs to
good.
go with that.
Packet put together for you guys then.
Yeah, we gotta have something to
Yep.
prove and see where we're gonna get the money for. That's gonna be a pretty big impact. I think that's why we didn't do it before. This came up 2 years ago.
And you remember?
We'll table that till next month. Equipment ratings and equipment week.
So I handed you guys the packet, look at the one with there's some blue on there, that's the Rusk County Highway Department Equipment List 2024. There's the conditions 1 through 5, 1 being poor, 5 being new. just wanna go through that, I have, the blue indicates equipment that, should be looked at getting replaced. There's a lot of tough shape equipment that we're working with, and it's costing us a lot of money.
Okay, I got just dumb question. 27 QX. That truck ain't that old, and you're already rating it at a 3.
This was, so I got together with all our foremans, we kinda went together so that all of us, I guess, basically, when it came down to it, it was used, so I know that had, decent effect in it, and,
Oh, that's the quad. Oh, I see it.
yeah.
Yeah, but we got three. You got 3 of them right up there on top, 4 of them, that only have a 3. And if those vehicles aren't a 4 for the amount of miles on them, then I think you guys need to have a meeting with shop.
Absolutely, and, I've been really trying to, well, me and Scott both have been trying to crack down on these guys taking care of the equipment more, cause
I know they're 7, 8 years old, but for 100,000 to 130,000 miles on them, those are those Western Stars, those Freightliners.
Yep.
I mean,
I'm just going off of past.
but they should be 4s.
Yep.
I would be, in your position, I'd be I would be unhappy if they weren't rated 4s.
Yeah.
And where they're at in the fleet.
And like I said, I'd love to have you guys come down there and take a look at them with us, but like I said, you know, a lot of stuff's beat up, I'm trying to get it to where everybody's taking care of their stuff a little bit more, cause, it's shown in the past it hasn't been done. There's no reason why we should have this many 1s and 2s on this list, so I'd really, you know, I get our money situations tight, and it comes down to the, you know, getting new stuff, and they're not taking care of it.
That is the 100% right there. Because we got trucks, what, that 1 year, last year, whatever, and somebody rolls into the side of a pole. And we're paying for it, it's like, come on, you people.
I like this so far, I'd like to see this every 6 months.
I do too.
It's simple for us to read, it's not, you know, I mean, the other one's handy too that we get, you know, but
Yep.
I like this.
And I know, I'd like to keep talking about it, but once we move on, I'd like to get just a little bit more detailed on the conditions, why we rated them at that, just so you guys know a little
Put
bit more
some notes
too.
behind them.
Yeah.
I think you got your Mac rating there too, that's pretty much.
So we've just had a lot of issues with that.
Well, that's still a 4. I'm in the trucking world, and I'll tell you what, that truck is a diamond in the rough right now, all day long. I drive the Mac since 2017, and,
51,000 miles.
yeah, that's a diamond in the rough there, you ain't gonna see that very often. It's gonna have issues, but overall, it's worth the money.
So are you using this, Sean, to create your 5-year budget plan, like Ashley had requested, 'cause I think that's due in May.
Yes,
It's supposed to be
I
run through
just,
the committee.
yep, and I brought that along with just to kind of show, what we'd like to see.
Okay.
Your wish
Well,
list.
wish
yeah,
list.
a little wish
Yes,
list.
sir, your wish list. Granted,
Everybody
now,
gets a wish
a lot of this
list.
stuff is already in place before you got here, so.
Yep,
you know,
yep.
It's kinda like Christmas, cause
It's how you get what you do.
I'm trying to tweak some stuff, I know, yeah.
I mean, Ertl probably makes some models that'll work in here, that we can replace some of their stuff with and afford, but the actual thing, the full-scale replicas,
What did the blue mean again? I'm taking notes for Ashley.
Blue is just, what I'd like to see replaced.
Okay.
well, 35 is definitely, 35 and truck 50 is the most at the top of the list that's really gotta move. 50 ain't so much, cause we can use that on our attenuator right now for traffic. But 35 has got a weak engine in it, if that engine goes out, $35,000 just for a freight engine for it.
And that's not labor or anything, so right now 35 is not allowed to even leave the yard at this point.
Yeah, it's parked in the corner, that's where it's set to, nobody's allowed to use it.
But that don't do us any good either.
No. Just, I know, it all comes down to what kind of money we get, but it'd be really nice, especially with these trucks, cause, I mean, if I'm being honest, that's what when it comes down to it, hiring these guys for is do snow plowing for us, and, it'd be nice to kinda keep up with the 2-year plow truck. I know it might not happen every year, but until we can get some of these trucks under control, it'd be nice to see these.
Well, we have 2 on order,
Yep,
so we'll be replacing 35.
yep,
I don't wanna give you guys bad news, but there's nothing bad, but right now, Allison Transmission was on strike.
What was it?
Allison Transmission, you were on
Truck
strike,
should
or
be
the
built, right?
trannies got on hold, because they're waiting.
We should already have that chassis, right? We should already have that though, don't we, Scott?
They should be down on the roller.
No, there won't be, the truck is supposed to be released from I-State in June, that's what he told us in our quote.
I thought we were already looking at the chassis then.
Cabin chassis were getting built, when we accept them, they were at the assembly line.
We accepted them, what, last fall?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. I thought the intentions was, see, this is where I'm getting weird. I thought we were getting them so that would be this year.
We
In August.
approved in our budget, and then January, February, and January, February, at our meeting, we put out the bid of I-State.
Yeah, we opened bids in December.
Yeah, no, right, and the intention was that we went with them because we could have them by August, I thought.
We were.
A slim, there was a chance.
The chassis were supposed to be done in June, and from June, they were supposed to go from there down to Monroe to get dressed and back, and now they're all on the assembly line waiting for transit.
Pick another one. They make all kinds of them. Put an 18-speed in.
I'm okay with the 18 speed,
They're automatics, right? They're all semi-automatic.
Well, yeah.
Put a real man truck in there. You just can't catch a break. Yeah, we do have to put some up in the break.
So that won't hit our equipment fund. Still we're budgeted, them 2 trucks won't hit our equipment fund.
Probably not going to for this year.
Right?
By the time they show up, it'll be next year. But we budgeted for them for this year,
yeah, we budgeted $700,000 for it.
possibly.
God, hey Scott, some of these are high priced items, like that taper and that, that Caterpillar, that.
we just got, some oil tests back on that it's, number 73.
Yes.
And that engine is, the oil tests are showing it's, wearing cylinder heads are getting bad. It's got a fairly, increased rate of blow by. It's tired, it's really tired.
The payloader, 73.
Yep, loader, cat loader.
I guess I like what you did here. I think you almost need to go through and kind of figure out, have another line item or priority on, like your blues.
Yep.
Where your priority is.
So I have a completely different one made up. I just didn't know how much you wanted me to get into it, just for the fact we're gonna have some new board members,
Right.
coming in.
Like, for example, this number 73 is 93 cat. I mean, I think what needs to be assessed here too is what's the value of the rest of the loader, does it pay to put a motor in it?
Like,
Because we're probably gonna have to do some things like that. refurbish some of this equipment to get it back up to a 3-year to 4 range, because it's not gonna be in the budget, 400,000 for the loader or whatever. I don't see it, not if we need trucks. That's my thought right now, but next committee might think differently.
Well, I have, one of the, guys in the shop is looking up for what a engine is for that cat, so I'll have that there for you guys too.
I mean, is the rest of the loader in pretty good shape, you feel? I mean, I know it's 18,000 hours,
It ain't,
but.
it ain't bad in shape, I mean, it's definitely usable, I mean, we could, I thought we pinned a bush in that one 2 years ago, I think we pinned a bush in that one.
And then,
Could be a little longer
then
than
again,
that.
I know, talking to mechanics, they're getting Oregon already, and that just comes back down to, I just need to keep pushing that these guys need to take better care of what they're in, because there's no reason why, this case loader on
Are we
here.
short on grease guns, is that what you're telling me?
Oh, no, we're not short on anything,
We're short on people that actually grease them.
Do they know, do they know how to put the tube of grease in the gun?
Correct,
They got it figured out now.
yeah, but the case loader's the same way, they just put pins and bushings and that in their shot again already, and that was, I believe, just told me 2 years ago, there's no reason for that.
So do you have,
Seriously?
do you have any type of a way, like with this equipment, I might get a little off track here, but put a book in these vehicles as to the last time they were greased, et cetera, so somebody has to write down the hours?
So
Yeah,
Justin,
I got that down.
Justin came with Emily
Okay.
and Jean, they got this really nice book, we can bring one in next time,
It's gonna be in the equipment?
it is already,
Every one of them.
they've started it. And that's everything that has oil, if it has oil, they gotta fill it up.
Scott, you remember what it was like working at Holnick's, don't you? If you had 10 minutes left on your lunch break, you better grab the grease gun and start greasing something,
Yeah,
because there was something you missed from the time before.
Our former,
Johnny used to take lunch when I worked with him in the wash plant, sit in his hole listening to Paul Harvey, and I'd be greasing his backhoe.
yep.
Cause Johnny was the boss,
Yep,
so.
and you hope we took a nap.
we're trying to move forward to make them take care of this stuff.
Wow.
So
When I was in the military, my God, you had a regular charging system, you had cars, you had.
What happened in Mentality got made that we weren't allowed to grease our trucks, we weren't allowed to do anything, and now these guys expect to bring it in, and you gotta do it as a mechanic. That all got changed, that's no longer there, because our old shop foreman ain't there no more. And it got put now, everybody's responsible for your own equipment, if not, when they get that checkoff list, they better be checking it, when the hours, the degrees, whatever, they're being held responsible for it now. You know, if you can't maintain a piece of equipment, like all these guys wanna be in a mowing tractor, if you can't maintain it, you're not being in there, you're out, I'll put somebody else in there to maintain it. You know, we got a broom, we can sweep the floor if you need.
Right.
Yeah,
You know, it's almost like, this maintenance, if they just let it go like that, they have no idea what this equipment costs.
absolutely.
You know,
Well, it's not,
So-
and again, it's not their tech, Mike, so their checkbook, so they don't care.
The reality it is, though,
Alright, so
We
like,
pay the bill, they don't care.
the reality it is in the tractor.
if you could get us a better list on this, like next month, you know, like truck number 35, if we're not using it, we might as well get rid of it.
Yep.
I mean, if you guys don't feel safe putting it on the road and using it, we need to get rid of it.
I agree.
Committee agree?
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah,
No
and I don't,
reason to hang on to
I don't wanna
this
stick
stuff.
$35,000 crate engine in there if we're gonna get rid of it.
Not on a truck, not that many.
No, that's my biggest thing coming in is just trying to keep these plow trucks, keep rotating them through a system, and like I said, the state, we buy new trucks, we put them on the state right away, we're getting a chunk of that back, so you know, I understand it's hard up front, but we are getting something in return out of it at least.
So like this 93 loader, yeah, it's 30 years old, but I would look at, I mean, if the rest of the loader's good, you think the Chinese got decent life, I'd at least look into a motor like you're doing.
And then like that farm hall, I don't think there's no sense in.
We put that on the auction block. when it
That's-
comes.
I'd like to see it just go, to taking up room, we're gonna have our maintenance forestry start mowing, so.
Man,
How about this wheel, Number 300.
That's our
That's our wheel.
rotary excavator.
And that's got a 1?
Again, I will have, better stuff for you next month on that, why it's a 1. I'll go in more detail if you'd like.
Where's the new backhoe on this list?
304?
Also, 82's got a 0, that other end loader. Skid steer, what is that, 92 Ks,
Then one.
That's a pay order. That's not one
6,200
that we
hours,
were
is
gonna
it?
trade this year to get it going, but we backed off from buying that loader. That was the one that we were gonna trade off, get rid of.
But you put pins in it, right?
No,
But it needs pins?
it needs to be over $20,000 worth of things we could go into it.
Okay, so we didn't put it in.
No, we did not.
So, I mean, if we're not gonna use it, should we sell that thing too?
If we sell, we have to replace that.
Yeah,
I mean, so we're using it,
Yeah.
but it's got a 0.
yep, it's just more of a,
It's over Weyerhaeuser.
yep, it's
Okay.
parked right now.
That's when it kinda sits used as needed.
Yep,
Alright.
I guess how I went about it is ideally if we could get rid of the case in the, 966F, which is number 73 and number 82, and then go with a new one. That way there, if something were to go wrong at the plant with the one that they have up there, we have a big enough one that we could haul up there. Then we get rid of 2 not so good shape ones. And then,
So you would have enough, you'd be down to 3 payloaders then. Right?
Yeah, cause right now,
Three on
the 966F, that really barely gets used in the winter time because of the fact that the bucket on it's got teeth. That was the crusher. When we had our whole crusher, that's the one that fed the crusher, had teeth on the bucket. So it's kinda hard to load the salt in that, cause the guys that take the teeth, they do the black out.
So is the committee alright with them looking into repairing them too, or looking at a new one? I don't think we have to look at a new one, really.
and if you guys would rather just table talks on this and let me get a better
I didn't get a better handle on it too. before we
packet made
decide.
up, so you can physically see what exactly,
Yeah.
You know, just like-
Machine and.
yeah, 300, for example, there's
There's
a lot of stuff,
high
right?
dollar items here with 0s and 1s behind it.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to come back to say, okay, what really?
Yep, and I, like I said, I have that, I just didn't know if you'd want that right now being, with some new board members, coming in.
I don't think so.
This list will get refined better for
Yep.
this one.
Yep.
You wanna wait on the whole list of pickups and everything for next month?
Yep.
Okay.
But I like that, that was a good idea. Here we go.
So then, that takes care of the equipment ratings and the equipment needs, or is this one the equipment needs you come up with?
Yep, and I'll do an updated one then that does, I got priorities, on, so if you look at major 2024, it shows what we purchased. I guess the trucks, of course, I don't know what's gonna happen with them now, what budget that's gonna get placed on, but, that's gonna be something that I guess I'd like to get figured out, cause if we have $750,000 sitting there and we're not able to use it, on the trucks, I don't know how exactly we go about that. Cause after I took out the 300, and it's 640,000, we have about 110 left over in that fund that was levied. Depending on what happens in with these trucks, it'd be nice to, get either a couple new pickups, which that's where I got, prioritized down below. Ones are our main needs, and then it just goes to, threes, 1 to 3.
This is somewhat of your 5-year plan already, like your wish list.
Basically,
Yeah.
and we're gonna be using some of this on the capital improvement plan that we'll have next
Yeah.
month at that meeting, because it's gotta get approved there to be, to actually, by the 23rd.
Again, I have a hard time buying new pickups. I just have a hard time buying that basic pickup over there.
They're roughly in the neighborhood, 55,000 for.
I know, but the problem is, you start buying new trucks, it's like getting the forestry new truck and they run through the woods with it. Except for this is just a different scenario, it's at the highway department, they hit everything, and dent everything, and nobody gets accounted for it.
That's a big thing that I really like changed. Nobody's been held accountable, in the past for wrecking a lot of this stuff. And when I say wreck, they wreck a lot of stuff. There's some pickup trucks out there that, magically have dents in them and scratches, and, we just bought it like that, cause nobody knows what happened to it. So I'm really trying hard to, make this so this equipment lasts us a lot longer, cause like I said, we just don't have the funds to go out and buy a new loader every 3 years. So, I mean, to get something, they need to start taking better care of it, and that's why, Justin made up that, nice spreadsheet, and we're really trying to stick with it, so we can hold them more accountable.
That's it, because the amount of money we spend in insurance, and we've seen it come through the bills. All of a sudden, there's a bill that shows up for $4,300 for the auto body. What was that for? Oh, somebody hit the door and crushed it in. Really?
There's the incident report too, do they, you know, when they come in from the field, if something happened out there to the equipment, do they write it up and give it to you or something?
I guess it just kinda depends if, they wanna tell the truth on it about it or not.
Well, my God, they're employees.
Yep, absolutely, I 100% agree.
Well, if I sign out a piece of equipment and bring it back and the next day, Scott, you get the equipment, doesn't have a steering wheel, you know what, I better put that on the day before,
Yeah.
right?
You're right.
Oh, no, but I mean,
Yeah.
you guys should be accountable for
They
that.
have been getting better now that the sheets are in everything. One, it's a lot easier to track, just cause we know who's used it now. So if something does come back, we know who to go to right away. So it is working, it's just, we need it to work a little bit better.
You'll get there, I feel for you, you got a little bit enough, you'll climb.
This thing here too, I'm gonna give you some pointers too, when you do your
Yep.
annual to the highway, include this.
Yeah.
Make it simple for guys to understand what you're dealing with out there.
Yep.
A lot of these trucks, the same driver runs them all the time.
Yep, most plow trucks are assigned to a certain individual, they will take different ones in the summertime if they've got projects, but, winter times, we can usually pinpoint.
Same with all the blacktop, same guy uses the same truck almost every time.
Yep.
It's not hard to track.
So
that.
service truck we got, patcher's coming, 2 trucks are coming, trailer we've got, right?
Yep.
Now these other numbers down below, this loader 4CY, that was part of the wish list, or what?
Yep, I just have that, for current year, obviously if that, yes, it's just a wish list for you guys to look
Everything
over.
down here on the bottom half
You
of
just
this big
approved
sheet.
the process.
Well, we just did the spreader.
Right,
Well, that one's done.
right, but I'm, spreader's the small one on there,
Yeah.
so.
What kind of tractor you have been looking at?
So that was just kind of a discussion, we were talking about ifs of a new boom brush mower and sending one of our current ones to fill in for, I believe, number 78. 78's our wobble wheel tractor. That's just, another one of those items where it's old and, the parts that we're putting into it cost more than what it's worth. Obviously, I understand, 200,000's pushing it, I believe we could get under 100 horsepower tractor for a lot cheaper than, that.
Just depends if it's deaf or no deaf.
Right.
Yeah.
that price I went off was a newer John Deere, 100 and some horse for boom mowing, yeah.
Is that about
Watch
what
it
you
over
need?
there.
Is that about what you need, is a 100 horse tractor to run that?
The boom mower, I guess that 100 would do it, a little bit more would be nice. You know, Jerry, you probably,
Yeah, you wanna be in that 100 to 130.
And how many hours a year we put on these?
that's something I can look into and I can put on these sheets on how much they're getting used and whatnot. I don't know the number off the top of my head. But since I've been here, since February, they've been in them just about every day since, April 1st. And then they'll head back in them when we're able to start cutting again.
I think you can get a New Holland T6 for probably about, I'd probably still be 125 to 140 just for
But
the
then you
tractor.
put a, you gotta think about there though, that's just a tractor.
Right.
Then you boom it, it's 50 to 100 grand to boom it.
Right, there's that, which I have no clue what that is.
We should go back to the old city.
Okay, David's on there too.
That's what was on that little farm when we first, those little somewhere.
Do we always have to have a boom mower, or are there times that we could have one of those mowers that, those 10 or 12 foot mowers that are on 3-point and stick out on the side of
So
the tractor?
they run them for grass in the summertime.
Okay.
Yep.
But you're looking more for a combo like brush and whatever.
Yep, just if we're gonna replace one of those, it'd be nice to send it out on, and depending on what model we get, I'm sure our boom mowers can be transferred over to a certain model if we go with the same.
Yeah, I think everything got within all time.
Cause right now we run one disc mower and one boom tractor out on the state and counties, but we use that because that's what they want. But usually on the state, we got that motor, plus the boom mower that chases that for clean intersections. That's what the state gets. Then on the county, we've been running basically the smaller disc mower and then push boom tractor up, push back the intersections for, they can see there.
We've also been sending old skid steer, I'm sure you've seen Highway 27's, nice, they've been out there with the Teton head,
That's just winter time, the winter
Yeah.
tractor goes.
Okay, any more discussion on the equipment?
Nope, can't afford nothing, so move on.
Alright.
Crop sales start tomorrow.
Open mechanics position.
As of yet, we have nobody that applied for a mechanic. We got one that just applied. When's that closed now?
What?
When's that one closing?
It did close.
Huh?
Yeah, it did close yesterday.
So I got word this morning that we might possibly have somebody come in and do a paper, application at the shop.
Okay.
So if he does,
You
if
can
we could get it up
accept
to you,
that.
yeah.
Cause we only got one mechanic or one application, you said for that,
Correct.
so hopefully this guy shows up, that's why it's on the agenda, but.
Well, can we accept it though after the closing date?
We can extend the closing date,
We can extend it, but I don't think if we ain't got it now, it ended Friday, right?
but we can extend it. It ended last night at 11:59. Yeah, so we can put it out for another week. I mean, we need 2 candidates, so
You wanna extend it for another week?
We could be enough.
we can keep extending it. We don't have to get the
Oh.
committee,
We
you know.
don't come back, we don't need it until next month then.
Right.
But if she gets
But
it,
we
she can
haven't
put an
even-
But I
application
can,
together.
I,
Or
How
you
many
can extend
positions
it
do you
yourself.
need?
yeah, I don't need the committee,
No.
yeah, I can,
Two mechanic positions are open.
Well, then why
She
are
can
you
extend
worried
it,
about it?
yeah.
I don't know.
But if they had, don't look
Done, maybe you get some of the big
They need to
guys,
hire
you
either.
can fast mechanic.
Yeah.
Goes through the,
I don't know what you wanted to discuss when we put it on the agenda.
Because the word on the street and everybody you talk to, trying to get mechanics in this position, is saying that we don't even come close to being enough.
Anyway.
for this.
Mine closes, you might be able to get.
What's the rate on, okay, now we're gonna open that discussion, what's the pay window on that position?
Step 1 through 5 is 2330 through 2463. 2330 through 2463.
Whipple County just put out their mechanic position, and their starting wages are from 27 something to 29 an hour.
Yeah, they're bigger county, though.
We're mucho dinero.
I think we just did raise that here a couple of years ago.
Price County, so it's similar size and next to us, they're right with us, 2388 to 2786, so they have a higher range. But I don't know if that goes to the top end of their scale. We put out step 1 through 5, because anything past, I can offer it to somebody step 1 through 5 without going to any committees. If we wanted to go past step 5, that's when we'd have to get, take it to a committee to have a discussion about. So that's why we post 1 through 5. Typically, we're not gonna offer it at that high end of the scale either unless they had all qualifications and a lot of experience. That's what would put them at that higher step.
So I guess with that being said, that put kinda after, could we offer more if you got a good mechanic? But we got one that was here, that was very, very good mechanic, and we couldn't post them because we weren't offering enough to start with.
The problem there is you're gonna offer somebody more than what you can, they're already getting paid. So, you hire one person higher than the people working there, they're not gonna, they're gonna be like, alright, I'm going somewhere else now.
Can of worms.
Never done that.
No, never.
Yeah, but the only
But
thing
they
is,
both, I don't think even in our ad hoc committee, we can go over the step 5 without going up personnel.
Correct.
That's how I,
Yep.
with you, we've been in, that I read, we couldn't go over step 5 without going up personnel. Which could change next.
yeah, but
month.
Terry, we were just talking about maintaining equipment. Now, if you're 2 mechanics short.
It's a nightmare right now.
No, but I mean, how?
We're at the point where we have no choice, we gotta turn away township work, cause I don't wanna put that on, well, me and Scott both, we don't wanna put that on one mechanic. It's gonna be a struggle if we can't get, some guys in here.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you're already 2 down. We're all, as a committee, we're looking at the overall maintenance of this equipment. Boy, it's kind of a scary thing when you can't get an application.
See how this goes, and maybe you guys are gonna have to take this to personnel next month.
We did offer, with the last round, we had 3 candidates that had applied and we interviewed all 3. We offered the 2, one did turn it down for the wage and the other one turned it down, just did not feel the mechanic position was a good fit for him. The other problem too is the CDL requirement. So I know the one that we do have right now does not have their CDL.
If I could say something about that, I guess I know it's nice for them to have the CDL, but the 2 mechanics that we do have there do have CDLs if we were to run into a pinch. If it's something that, I know it's probably a can of worms to go back in there and redo a job description. What if they put in there, they have so many, or maybe it already does, they have so many months to get their CDL, just to get somebody in here.
If they've never had a CDL, it's not just go down the street and get a CDL anymore. It's a long process.
I think that's the problem too with the wage is now the CDL is about 6,000 to get. So the 2 candidates that we did make the offer to, both did not have their
Are they
CDLs.
saying it's $6,000 to get it based on the fact they're going through the schooling?
Yeah, like what the schooling cost is and,
And that's probably give or take shy or low, but yeah, and that's all 6 months to a year.
We did check on it, didn't we?
Yeah, but it's changed again since we checked on it.
Right, now there's
No,
new
we're getting
rules and
certain
regulations
time.
again.
How often do those guys in the shop end up out on the road with a plow truck? In all reality.
Well, a lot of times it used to be when we were hauling blacktop, everybody, even guy with a wheelbarrow was out there.
We didn't tilt the shop, anybody, we put even the front off, everybody, they had CDLs, we put them in their truck.
Okay, so are we thinking that we've already got 2 in the shop that have CDLs, and if this is the cruncher of not getting another mechanic?
Not a company got a test drive,
case scenario is that we could pull the two mechanics, put them all flagging, and take the two flaggers that possibly have CDLs and put them in our truck.
Okay.
But it's in a job description that we require, so we have to change the job description where we didn't require it.
Right, but that'd be simple enough to do.
You're making one mechanic have it, one not, just because they worked there before.
Well,
So it's
one
still-
advantage by them keeping their CDL, if they go out of the shop, do they wanna be holding a flagpole or do they wanna be driving a truck? I mean, in all reality, that's to their advantage if they have that CDL, standing out in the hot sun holding a flagpole, or, you know what I mean? The guy that's got the CDL, I would think would wanna keep it,
Well,
so
is there
that
something
he
we wanna
doesn't have
discuss?
to.
Well, be the next committee, but something we wanna put on their agenda for next committee to address.
Let's see how this, you might wanna put it on next month's agenda again, just, and see how this goes, see if you're able to get it.
I would put on open, well, mechanic position, job description, discussion, and possible motion. But then it's gotta go to personnel after that anyways, to change the job description, so it'll take a while, but. But it's in the job description now that it's required. Yes,
Class A with tanker endorsement.
I see.
The job description is just class A with tanker.
That's, the class A covers your fees.
Okay.
That class C is a double.
So, I mean, like, when you're interviewing these, it's pretty hard to narrow them out. A lot of them are applying and they don't have a CDL, it's pretty hard to offer them a job at a higher wage even when they don't have a CDL.
Did they put something in, they had so long to get it?
Yeah.
We did, but there's
We-
a lot of stipulations that rules.
We did offer, like I said again, the two positions that we offered the mechanic to, we did tell both of them that they had to get it within the year, is what the committee had, the ad hoc interviewing committee had talked about. And both of them did ask if the county would pay for that, and
And
I,
that's where the issue comes in.
and I, yeah,
Let alone we hired them, now they have to take off for 6, 8 weeks of school, where they're not gonna be working for us.
and then they also have the cost of, give or take that
Right,
6,000.
cause then if we pay for the CDL and then they turn around and leave X months later, then then the county's got 6,000 wrapped into it, and they got a CDL, and they're down the road, and we get nothing. So, and again, I'm a firm believer, I'm against the fact of paying for somebody's CDL, earn it like the rest of us. You wanna work somewhere, go out and get it, and then come and apply for the job. It's just me.
But that would be, well, this is for mechanics, so it'd be just going back to not requiring it. You could just put preferred, but not required.
There you go. That's a good way to lay it out.
Where we keep our.
Cause our mechanics shouldn't have to know how to, you know, your CDL teaches you how to maintain that truck, care for that truck. You know, that's part of driving it. That's a good learning experience, you know, even though a mechanic work on it, but you should still know the fundamentals of driving it, how it works.
Right,
That's what you learn when you get your CDL.
guys driving in the garage.
So, I mean, it's something we gotta discuss at probably next month.
Sure, them last guys we hired, they got theirs pretty quick, didn't they? Zimmer.
Yeah, but that's 3 years ago.
That was before this.
This is before all this new law.
I don't know that long ago.
Yeah, that's before that new law though.
They just changed all the rules and regulations again, Bob.
Well, I know, but they got them pretty quick though.
Yeah. It was fairly easy back then.
Yeah, in fact, you got way ahead of schedule.
This guy in Holcomb, I've not seen as many as his out on the road, training as many people, he was right, when they were changing that law, he was training people right fast, and it slowed right down.
I know the, Chippewa Sands in Chippewa, where the old sand mine was, there's a new guy just came in there. He's just doing testing, so you gotta go do all your bookwork, get your temps, and then he does, I don't know how much it is, but.
It's gonna take so many hours of driving.
Yep, you gotta have so many hours.
Cause like my kid, some of the other kids that he was with, school paid for all the testing, all the bookwork. Now they have their, you know, they just gotta go take the test to get that and then go train with the driver. 32 hour drive.
Just say, hey, 13 hand, you got that at 4 hours, size the other.
We'll just go down.
So, yeah. But if it's committee's preference, when we interview the next process, we do preferred CDL. I was kinda trying to get you guys' input of what we should do in the interview, these next few mechanics and how many we have.
I would go with the preferred, but not required.
Recommend a year to get it.
Yeah, if they wanna do it.
Prefer to have it within a year.
Yeah, if they wanna do it, you have to have it.
But there again, we gotta see how the current job description's worded as to whether or not it's gotta be changed.
But I'm kinda, recommendations
required
from you
now.
guys, what me and Ashley should do with it when we're going to the next ad hoc.
I'm almost thinking that it should just be taken out of there. We're gonna find this harder and harder, I think, to fill these positions, especially
So
when a lot of
just-
times we're $3 to,
I'm just kinda looking for a recommendation from you for.
well, I mean, we're $3 to $7 maybe a lot of times behind the private sector. So if we make these positions more and more complicated to get people to apply for them, and
Yeah.
maybe the shop should be a little more separate than the outside guys.
But if you put it preferred but not required, that's covering the same thing.
But right now, that she said description says
Right.
required, so. it
So that would be what we would
That would be.
propose the change, yeah, and not
Well-
have anything about you have to get it within a year,
Yeah.
just
Well,
saying,
the other thing is actually, if you look at it, if I interviewed and I was truly a mechanic, and you know what, I didn't wanna drive a dump truck or a skid steer or whatever. I just wanna turn the wrenches, I know how it works, you know what, I can drive around the yard if I wanna test it out. But the big thing is a lot of people that are mechanics just wanna be a mechanic. And you know, if you say, well, you gotta have a CDL within a year, and then you go out and drive the truck or also blacktop or whatever, maybe they don't wanna do that.
mhm.
See what I mean?
Does the county have any type of, I don't think we do, but maybe, I don't know about it. Do we have any type of program now where someone working for the county decides they wanna go for schooling, like what the private sector does? And extend their career or expand it?
Like tuition reimbursement?
Yeah, do we have anything like that?
Should be something to look into, cause it'd be something to take to the schools too, you know? Remember that?
Yeah, it seems like something. I mean, maybe there's an opportunity there too, or if they decide to get their CDL, and they're in the shop, we reimburse, I don't know, half of it or something. I mean, it's just thought, I don't know.
I don't think it
Look
hurts
into
to
the
start
cost.
going to these schools, the high schools, and just kinda informing them. I know a couple of the guys at work said some kids would be interested in job shadowing, just to see what they kinda do. I understand the insurance liability part of it, makes it basically impossible, but, you know, Lady Smith High School did have a couple kids that were interested in doing something like what we do. I don't think anything's gonna help us get, you know, anything's gonna help.
Cause they do got that career day at these schools, and I'd like to start going to them a little bit and see.
When I worked for Nestle
We're
for,
running out of young blood, you know, there's not a lot of people wanna do this thing, you know?
when I worked for Nestle a lot of years, I mean, we had like 12 mechanics in there, and I only recall about 2 of them having CDL. And then I kept their CDL because then once in a while they could go do something else, and they gave a break out of the shop. The rest of the guys were all wrenchers.
Well, instead of comparing to just all these other counties, I did look up lands, they are 17 to 24 for mechanics, so right in line, right
Okay.
higher than them, and they are CDL preferred, not required.
So, yeah, we're not going that far.
Not that far off.
Alright.
There we go.
Yep.
You're on the right track.
Update on 2024 construction projects.
Alright, you know, we're working on the County Peak project right now, there is an LRIP program out on it that we had scheduled for it, I'm working on that. Trying to get it redeveloped or revamped, for the construction zone. We got allotted $150,000 for the LRIP program, which in return that we have to do a $300,000 job in order to get that money. With 3.5 miles, it wasn't really that compatible, so I had to revamp it, I'm waiting on the state right now to okay it. if it does get okayed, what the thing is gonna be, that we're gonna put it out for bids for the grinding and graveling end of it, but the blacktop part of it will be the county's, we'll be able to blacktop it and the shoulder work. So that's what the program, I'm working on it right now, trying to get that done. If I, hopefully be able to hear back from the state here pretty soon on it, but it's been a long time going here, trying to get that through. If I can't get that to go pretty soon, we might pull that program and put it to a different job and still be able to work on that county fee or just be money out of our pocket. Kind of, so on in 2024, the other program that we got out there yet this year for the LRIP is the county eye job. That is a chip poly seal on these bridges. That is gonna be around $200-something for that one. I like to continue on with that one. That one's gonna go out, for chip seal to help preserve our bridges and save us money in the long run, where we don't have to replace so many bridges and seal them up, or keep the salt and stuff out of them. We do got quite a bit of rough paving again this year to do. We got County I to finish for the overlaying, stuff like that on County I. County J, we're getting some culverts fixed on that, because I don't wanna overlay that until the culverts get fixed. So we're hoping to do some overlaying on that job yet this year. ADF building we're looking at for the county, to be coming up down there. We gotta do the ADF parking lot. We got a lot of crack sealing we can do this year, so, we got enough work pulling up shoulders, plus we got a chip seal program for the state on Highway 27 North that we gotta get this year, that'll be coming up shortly. So that's a lot of the projects that I have planned out for 2024.
So what are you doing for new blacktop? How much new blacktopping are we doing mileage wise?
Just the county P job, we're looking pretty close to 14,000 ton just in that county P job.
How many miles would that be?
That'd be 5 miles.
And that's the whole grind repave, right?
Yep. And then overlay, if we can get J going again, that's gonna be around pretty close to 5,000 ton of blacktop on that job.
Scott, have you heard anything about, any more about the, highway construction from the bridge here all the way to Price County? You know,
The highway construction?
yeah, they're gonna, put culverts in last year,
Yep.
but they said they were gonna start
They
this
said
spring.
within the next couple of weeks, they're gonna be starting over here. They gotta pull they're doing all the concrete curb and gutters at these, like Tony and all that.
Right.
I don't know about here in town if they're gonna do that one or not.
I didn't think they were coming into town.
Huh?
They're not coming into town.
They're starting in town, they're gonna start milling in town. They're
But I
gonna,
believe it's right by the bowling alley from there.
Oh, no, they're gonna start right from
the map
bottom.
shows right down here by the bridge.
Yeah, they're going right past the park.
Yeah. The map, I think you're supposed to start by the park and go
Yeah.
from there all the way out, somewhere they take over for the county, whatever. I know, like I said, city, I don't know if they're doing a curb and gutter there or not, I don't know what's up there, but Old Tony, Glen Flora, Hawkins, all that,
Right.
anything that has concrete curb and gutters that they're redoing all of them. We're supposed to be starting out of here within the next couple of weeks, so.
Right, I know the last highway safety committee, they were talking about letting out, the state let the bids out, they're gonna start in the spring.
Yeah, they're Monarch got all the paving on it. I don't know, we've got the concrete work of it, but.
Okay.
So all these road projects, I don't remember the day one, maybe I missed that. Did we get something on them on the estimated cost for each one?
That was in our 5-year. Jay, we took and we bumped it out of there because we moved that job to County D and G down there last year. I'm using County J as a overrun or overlay if we have any extra money this year that we can afford to do it for. Just to make sure I got somewhere to go or if I got extra money to overrun.
Well, I'd personally like to see those numbers come to this committee, so I know if they're gonna actually cost me past, they brought us the mileage and the tonnage for each job, and like, there was a couple jobs, what was it, last year, guys? We had to cut them back by, what, a half inch of thickness or something, just so we could afford to get them done. So, I think you should come to us with the thickness you're thinking, the tonnage you're thinking.
Being
Priority.
that much, we have to approve it. You know, we have to approve an amount.
Yep.
It's not, because otherwise it just happens. Like, you get a project like County D down there, that cost us 2/3 more than it should have.
I think we did P somewhere along the way, if I remember, but that's the only one I remember.
It used to be in our report, on our upcoming projects, our big projects.
So you're definitely gonna want it in next month's for new members and whatever else are gonna be here.
Yep.
You're allocating a lot of money, and it's bonded money that we're approving to do these projects.
Yeah, we got $3 million for 2 years, is what we were planning on doing that, so.
Right, so you should just have a plan of the big projects for the next 2 years,
Right.
not including just your
And
regular
how much is
maintenance.
going, and M's gotta be listed on there too.
No,
Yeah.
that's a separate state though. But it's
If
our
that's at
allocation.
20, right?
Right, we gotta allocate that money,
That 20's gotta come out of that for sure.
Well, those has been coming out already, cause we got $100,000 we paid for engineering for the county M project.
I thought that we had set aside already before we bonded,
we did, the
Yeah.
county did set
Yeah.
money for county M
for
aside,
the
already,
engineering,
not out of our bonding already, right?
right?
The county P is basically your biggest project this year,
County B is,
so we gotta know what that's gonna be before we start some of these other projects.
the
so we
outer
don't over-
program was for 300, it'd be over 300,000 for that. And then blacktop would be about 1.5 mil. Time all said and done, over 1.5.
But we need it down.
For P,
Yeah, I'll get all the numbers.
but you originally started around 1.8, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you're thinking you're gonna get 300 for LRIP, but yeah, you gotta find that out for sure too, so that we can. But then I thought with the 20% for M, I thought that was pretty much eating up a good share of the remainder of that 3 mil.
2026, or 2000, end of 2025, 2026. Construction's supposed to be 2026 and being completed in 2026.
Is that when we need the matching money then?
80/20.
Oh, yeah, that 20%, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's
80 from the state.
$1,010,000 for the build program for that county MPI for 2026.
We're gonna have to find out from finance too, if that project doesn't get completed until 26. How that works with the remainder of that $3 million bond. Cause we won't have to pay for that till 26, and this is a 2-year bond for 24 and 25. If we can move that money over to 26 and let it, which would be nice, cause then I think, my thought right now is that's what we should do with that, just let it move over and sit there for 26 and don't bond anymore.
Do we do for road projects for 2025, 26? Because we get no work out of building code, understand, we got absolutely no work, no blacktop, we have our plan, no trucks to run on, no nothing.
Well, we're gonna talk about it has to be done.
Well,
But there was some of that, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, if you set the schedule for this year, next year, in the next, you know what I mean, you'll have an idea for a 3-year plan, you have a 5-year plan, 3-year plan. And Jim, you'll be able to take that and look at it and say, hey, you know, the bonding and the priorities and things like that. And then still keep that 20% in the back of your mind. Then we have to go in the next one, I don't know. But the big thing is we need to see the 3-year plan or whatever. Put it on the paper, cause right now what you're telling us is gonna change, just this year could change 2 or 3
I'm
times.
thinking M was like $5.5 million
Yeah,
to 6,
Ways for sure.
oh, 7 miles.
and that could change by 26.
Road needs rebuilt.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was what,
We're 20% of that build project and the balance, if it goes over,
yeah,
that's on us.
right,
So it's estimated at 5.7 million
okay.
and 1.1 on us.
Alright,
I'm figuring that the year of the 1.1 million, whatever, for that County M job, that year I plan on being pretty much nothing but maintenance that year, be pretty much crack sealing, pulling shoulder, stuff like that. We ain't gonna have no construction, I doubt if we'll be running the plant at all that year, which is gonna be a big hit on our plant, but we don't have the money anywhere else to contend with it.
yeah, but how are we gonna, our road rating and everything else, we gotta keep going, you know what I mean,
You gotta keep.
you just can't let it sit there idle for a year, the people in Rusk County are gonna wonder what the.
I agree, but if we can't get the money to do our projects, what do you do?
It's getting rid of that
Rest of the
blacktop
project.
plant's really putting us in a hole.
No. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
you've missed a lot of heated
That's
discussions
I believe it.
about this blacktop plant,
I
sorry.
believe it.
The big white elephant has been a sore
Yeah.
subject since the day it came here.
Gotta remember, there's 19 people voted for that too, though.
Not me, not me.
I'm just telling you, though, that ain't just one guy, there was 19
No.
people voted.
I get why I got voted for
I
too.
know, I
And
get
it's easy for me to sit here now and grumble about it, but I get why you voted for it after seeing the other side.
That's the old one.
You got 3 million in, you might be worth 10 million. Okay, just keep going.
We never did get it, right?
Yeah.
Scott, I got a question.
Can't get it where we thought.
When they make this recipe for this blacktop, to put these chips in, you gotta stockpile them too, or you just get them as you need them, or what?
The chips?
Yeah.
We get them as we need it.
That's the way it was before, we just went over to the truck next door,
Yeah, we buy chips pretty cheap around the house.
that was part of the recipe.
Nothing else on the construction projects?
I'll bring you another detailed next week.
On County Carl,
Not
you guys care to move the addendum next? Instead of going through the-
Fine with me.
we sign it. Summer help, LTE position.
We're gonna have to, bring in individual, couple individuals maybe for the summer help to help, cause for lacking people. To help play, do stuff like that. These CDL, non-CDL,
What's the minimum age on that guy? Gotta be in for that type of
18,
position.
they gotta be over, gotta be 18 plus.
We have two positions, and then the theory here is if we had some pretty good ones, we know we have some retirements coming up sometime throughout the next year. If we start them off now, get them somewhat of a training in, they would potentially have a full-time employment. But they're gonna be paid as a limited time employee, which the wage is quite a bit different, 8, 12, 15.
Are they being paid as a limited time employment or summer
Well, it's-
help, but
it's
they're two
limited.
different things?
Well, they're both limited, so summertime help and they're both limited. You only work at so many hours and you only so many hours.
But they're two different, summer help is different than an LTE. An LTE is gonna, limited term employment is pretty much gonna be that you're asking for the same pay as that position. And yes, their hours are going to be limited, but summer help is on a completely different wage scale, completely different position, time frame.
Yeah, intern, district wages, whatever you wanna call it, LTE or.
So limited full-time employee would be at $20.
It would be whatever whatever
They would have-
position, so if we were looking,
They have to acquire CDL.
if we were looking at a highway, a limited term, you're
Limited
gonna
term employee.
basically take that same position with that same pay, the same job requirements and call them an LTE position. Summer help is gonna be completely different job duties, different pay, all of that. So are we looking for summer help, or are we looking for LTE?
Right?
Yeah, LD, we're having a hard enough time getting a mechanic in that I'd rather not put some out there for $12 an hour.
Yeah, cause summer help is,
You're gonna be at that 12.50.
it is up to the committee to decide, but our other department, summer help is starting at $12.50, correct?
I think they had 16 age requirement, where we require 18 because of the highway work.
We're no different.
Correct. We do not have any policies on summer help. Well, I think a lot of people think we do, but we don't. It is up to the committee to decide.
I think it's a state though.
Yeah, what have you been doing all this time?
I know, I'm sorry. It's on my massive to-do list.
So you're looking for so many, what do you think in hours per week? Are you thinking for these positions, any idea? You just looking to run this from July 1st to the end of September, or what?
If they'll be there while we work, and if it's a rainy day, they get sent home, they get 2 hour show up, sent home, no PTO, no insurance. You know, we're just there, we're using them as we go.
But what's your time frame? When are you looking to start hiring them? How long are we looking for them?
Like May to September, October.
I'd say at least October.
School time.
Oh, yeah, if we were to get some,
College people.
yeah, they're gonna go back, so September. Anything will help, but we have one that's leaving in July, and then the other one's, gonna probably let us know,
The other one don't quite know yet.
when he's ever ready, so either July or end of the year, somewhere between there.
So eventually these are gonna require CDL, is what you're saying, if they decide to stay on.
We should stay with the limited time employee, because we're required to have a CDL. We don't work forces.
We have 2 more folks retiring this year.
An LTE would
Well, one
require
for
CDL.
sure,
One for sure.
probably
Instead
two.
of 18. Hey, you might get a, try it.
Potentially to have a full-time position.
Then you're not limited in the LTE, if you hire them as an LTE, you're not limited to what they can do as long as they have the training.
Some of that limitation, though, Scott, they're out flagging, and you guys are blacktop, they're gonna have to be with you, how many hours you're out there? Be there 4 days a week, they're gonna have to be there 4 days.
Well, you might find somebody that's semi-retired, like Bob over there, that wants to come back and work a few hours a week.
I just let my CDL go to.
Oh,
It goes in that big a demand.
You could have gotten a lot of work.
You could have,
Yeah, I made a lot of trips.
you could have started next month.
Yeah. And finish the next day.
So the committee,
No, we have it in the budget.
I believe so, right?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Usually come out of meetings, I mean, the times we get charged to projects, once again, so it doesn't just go to one budget line, it's gonna
Yeah.
go a project for a township, they're gonna go
That's
that way, so.
like it's all over the place.
It's just do it.
And we're looking for 2.
But you interview 3, right?
Or,
But we had to have the committee's approval.
We're gonna have to get to advertise it pretty soon, because we should have schools out.
We picked one of them.
Yeah, they're gonna want jobs.
Then we were gonna offer the other 2 of them.
They only got a month and a half.
The whole interview process. Which we can do.
they both have their CDLs.
Yes, well, one in school right now. He would have it by the time he got hired. He went through all the training,
You just have to test.
he has to test. But that was his theory, cause we had 4 interviews, and he said 3. We ranked them the 1 through 4. We offered them the LTE, hire the full-time position that we have empty now, offer them instead of re-interviewing, right?
Okay. So how many total LTEs you looking for?
Mhm.
2. Okay. It'll come in your taxes.
approving 2 LTE Highway 1 workers with the
Yeah.
same qualifications that our normal Highway 1 workers have. These are just gonna be LTEs.
Any more discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Now we'll go to the commissioner's report.
Give you a little bit of update there on County M, we did sign contract on that, the engineers are going on it right now. They'll be testing the road here pretty soon, doing a bore test on it, getting everything ready to go. We may have to send some flaggers over for it, they were asking about a little bit, so we might get a little bit of money out of the job, but we'll see. The gravel pits, I've been kind of talking a little bit back and forth, we do have a app that we use to measure our gravel piles for inventory every year. I've been kind of talking to zoning a little bit. We're gonna try to find them with the drone ones to see what the difference is in measuring the piles.
I
Seems like
thought we bought a tool to do that.
it's on the app on the.
There's an app on their phone, yeah.
I remember purchasing a tool, for that.
It's just an app is all it is. You take the phone, you walk around the piles, you measure, do all this fancy stuff, but I wanna see how close it is. So I was gonna ask, the zoning to fly the piles with their drone and measure it and see how close we are, that map is compared to the drone.
There's an app out there where a farmer can take it, fly his silage pile in the bunker.
Yeah.
If it knows the density and the moisture, you can figure that out, as how many tons is there, there's gotta be a way to do it for gravel.
Well,
Yeah,
what we're running into is we're running short on gravel. Sometimes it seems like our pile is like disappearing, so either one of the apps are not quite, coherent with one or the other, I don't know.
No tracks around the gates.
Well, the gates are there, the gravel, I don't know where everything's at, it seems like we're missing too much gravel.
Gravel's probably there, it's just a major problem.
Yeah, I just don't know if it's getting measured right, or what's going on from year end to year start, or year end to year end. It just seems like it's not jiving.
I know they said that they had an issue at the Scott pit where they crushed, measured it, and then like 6 months later, after everything settled, it, cause then it's taking measurement this way, so once it settles, that's taken away from it too. So I don't really know how to get a
The
100%.
tonnage should still be there, though, there's just more moisture in the pile, correct? In most cases?
Depends if you get
Yeah.
gravel right after it rains,
Right.
you get gravel when it's dry.
Yeah. I'd say it's pretty dang accurate though, I mean, this app that we have seems to be pretty accurate.
Well, when the crusher weighs off the crusher rate per ton, right?
Yeah.
I believe that they have that, yeah.
Yeah, they're supposed to be running out, the running scale, they do have a running scale on the crusher.
Most ones do,
Scott, wasn't there a requirement where you had to close a couple of pits? You had to close a couple of gravel pits, wasn't there? Wasn't there a mandate about a year ago or through the forestry and guide and whatever, on the DNR or whatever, that you were gonna close a couple of pits?
Well, we didn't close them, but we had to gate them and
Gate 'em.
put rocks on them.
Okay,
And
that's
we put
okay.
up all the signs, yeah,
Okay, so they're still,
to come in compliance, the pits are still there, it's just that we had to put up all the signing and everything on them.
oh, okay.
Come back into compliance, cause
Yeah, that's all done.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
good,
all.
okay.
Talked about the hot patcher, the asphalt plant, the old asphalt plant's pretty much tore apart, the only thing that's standing right now yet is still the conveyor and the silo, so hopefully the southern boys is warm enough for them now that they can get up here and get everything out of our way. They're supposed to be getting the crane lined up, they should be here, I hope soon. Then that'll all be done. They are working on our plant right now, getting everything ready to go. They had the paver in the shop, they worked on that, getting that ready to go. So once we get rolling here, we should be, everything be set to go.
I guess going back to the construction part of it, you are gonna have some bids for, grinding
once that, one, we know one way or the other, no matter what, we're gonna pulverize the drainage, so we can put it up for whatever we can.
Well, I can probably get that on next month's agenda.
Yeah, I was wanting to see where this LRIP was gonna land, if I ever hear anything back from John Moore on it. The bridge inspections, we still working on them 6 to 20 foots right now, we get an inventory done in our county, so that's all starting to come together now, basically, all we gotta do is play longitude, latitude, so once we get all that in, that'd be done, then 2025, 26, or 2025, then you can go through and do the inspections on them, get all that done on the bridges, that way if there's any, there could possibly down the road, might see some grant money put out for them to help replace some of these 20-foot smaller structures, so, we're still working on that yet. That's pretty much all I got right now for our commissioners.
Next, we have the safety report. Did everybody get a chance to read the minutes for the safety report?
Yeah.
They're in our packet.
Yeah. That's a good deal, you gotta keep that, that's important.
How often do we do that? Monthly?
We're gonna start doing it monthly now that we're getting things settled, then we're gonna start pulling on monthly.
Question, why is Nathan on it?
So, we didn't have enough guys to, or we're trying to rotate alphabetically to get every one of the workers in, just get a different input from the guys. So we got all the foremans, and then Bob Lincoln wanted to be on it full time, and then we're just circulating alphabetically through the guys.
I just, wondering, I had, under the flagger sign, the work zone sign, why are we having a foreman do that? Order needed signs, is he just gonna give you a list for you to look at, to order the signs?
Yeah, they got the list ready.
Yeah, Shauna head up the signing, you know, so, once everything gets documented, what we need 100%, then we'll make sure Shauna makes sure it gets ordered what we need.
Yep. They had a list from December before I got in here, so we got that now.
Chainsaw training, doesn't it come with our safety guy?
Not that part of the chainsaw, that's,
It's
what
like a
they call that
hands-on?
one.
We got
So
another company.
Dustin does do a chainsaw safety training, but it's not anywhere near what this guy does. Like, this guy
This
brought us
hands-on
out into the field.
Okay,
Level 1, he did level 1 one day, and then the next day he did level 2. Very good for the guys. If I could do it again, I'd have him come in and, cause he does storm damage cleanup. Obviously that happens quite a bit up here. Be very knowledgeable for those guys. But he
does
did a-
forestry and maintenance and all, they get involved
They
in
came
this
in with
too?
us on level 1 day, yep.
So then we need to have Dustin doing chainsaw training?
He hasn't, for
I
what,
thought that was part of his deal for some reason.
so he does have it in there, we don't have it for this year, he's not doing it. We have, I can bring that, next meeting to what he's gonna do for us this year for classes. There's, I wanna say,
I'm just
Or-
wondering if that was included in his original quote, Sean.
Oh,
That's
okay.
where I'm coming from.
Yep, I can,
But then he's not doing something now, should we be watching for that one, but it was never included.
This is basically everything to make sure that we do for him. Dustin Thompson.
Okay. Okay. I just, if we're getting something out of it, great, but if we're being redundant on something that, and we're paying for something that's
yeah.
a waste of time, then I don't see a point of paying
It sounds like we pay for a certain amount of classes a year for him, we get to pick which ones, and then
You want it?
yeah.
Yeah, we cover everything that has to do with tech shovel, graduated, or pits and out of the pits to keep us in compliance with that. He handles all that, the chainsaw safety is done by Vista, certified trained people, they handle the chainsaw in-room teaching out on the woods, you know, hands-on cutting and all that, teaching how to run it.
When I was there, we took it, we had to go up to the pit, and each had one of us had to cut a tree down.
That's what
That's
they
how
had
it
to do
still
there,
is,
yeah.
yeah.
The instructor picks a tree and tells them what to cut and what way to follow it.
That's what we learned to do technique with the fun stuff, you know, at that time.
Anybody got anything else on it? Got one thing, just failing non-safe equipment, what's this dolly?
Tire dolly, I believe that's what,
That's for semi tires.
Only rules are.
it's just to stick
Oh.
things to the guys,
Yeah, take the tires on and off the truck.
Oh, I'm thinking dolly, like tire dolly, I'm thinking of big semi dolly or something.
No, not that big, just for tires. Grab a hold with your hand, you can wheel the tires in and out of the truck.
That barn owl thing, I've actually been looking at that. That
That's
looks
nice,
pretty
yeah.
interesting.
it is, St. Louis County in Minnesota, Duluth has 72 of them. Bayfield County has 27 cameras. He sent me some pictures of what they take, it's pretty,
I saw it on their
Amazing.
website too.
yeah.
That might be something to look at going forward, even for monitoring roads and stuff.
We're actually gonna get two of them, just, see how they go. And then later on, look at getting something bigger yet. So we can actually put them up by our pits too, so, it'll trigger just like a regular jail camera, people going in and out of the pits and see.
Have you heard of them? Yeah, they look pretty interesting. But could a person do the same with just a cellular able game camera?
So,
Basically the same thing, yeah, that's what you.
But these are more expensive for some reason, what's the,
So
but they
those-
live stream.
yeah, they can, it is, it's really a glorified trail camera, but a really nice glorified trail camera. They don't run on batteries, it's all solar powered, so you don't have to put batteries. Once you set them up, that's it.
I think they have both.
You can
You
do
can't do the
both.
battery one yet too.
Well, these here are gonna be where, they're doing the upgrade on them right now, where it's actually gonna take and shoot the road, and it can actually tell you how long the road is.
It'll give us road temp, air temp.
But like those pits, why couldn't we just use like a cellular game type camera on some of these
But if
pits?
we got these, we don't need them all summer long, we can actually go and buy the pit. But yeah, the regular.
All these other pits you got, what if we just put one up in there and every now and then go check it?
Yeah, there
If
is,
you got some questions on things going on.
you know,
Yeah, we can probably get this regular trail cam for that, cheap one.
But somewhere where nobody knows where it's
Well,
at.
if you're thinking about doing it, put it on next month's agenda.
Okay.
okay.
You can't just go purchase new equipment, I mean, you still gotta notify the committee before you do something. Doesn't, you gotta be aware of what's.
Yeah.
Some of them on the state highway don't
Looks
have
good.
it after, the state takes care of that, I think.
Not up here, they have one in Spooner on 53 and that's about it.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, they stay south of Chippewa.
Down in that southern area.
Yep.
Does anybody have anything else on the safe report? Hearing nothing, we'll move on to the financial report.
Right, so your first 6 pages there are is the, 6, fund balances, this is for December closing. The books pending, the journal entry approval will be closed, so that I can move forward on January, February, March, catch up on this year's books. So at the bottom there, you're looking at your ending fund balance the last year. Let's get through that. Yeah, there is the accounts receivable aging report. nothing outstanding there, there's the usual over 30. We had one outstanding one from last month, but that came through last week and was paid up. Then we move to the usual equipment, status through the year. This is through March 31st there, as well as the winter maintenance job progress report through March. And then the last page there is just the estimated financials, our March billing estimate of $114,000, and then total for the year to the 3 months is $312,000.
So we budgeted for them 2 trucks, that ain't in this equipment fund balance, right?
No, that'd be 23, so you're talking about that 750,000?
Yeah, that ain't.
No, that'd be showing up in the 24 stuff.
What happened last year, cause that one truck was purchased in 22 and both of them didn't show up till
Well,
23.
one was paid for, part of it was paid 1 year, part of it was paid the next year. Yeah, if I remember right.
The one goes to the budget.
They kept raising the price of the next one, and the tires didn't go up or something.
Yeah, could be
I don't
that one 2023 we paid for the other one.
Okay, I'm looking at this sheet,
Yep,
so it says equipment fund. That's what we would just take what we spent today out of, right, out of 535? That's, it shows December 31st.
that needs to be updated with closing yet, but it would. I don't foresee it changing much with closing. But yeah, equipment will come out of there, I guess the hot patch would be coming out of there,
Yeah.
once that comes in. That's, conveyor would come out of there.
That's, I was trying to figure out how much we spent today, so
Oh.
how much it's gonna be worth that equipment.
Yeah.
I already did the math.
About 24, give or take,
It's gonna be more than that.
well, that's right, 2 plows were 12 each, so about closer to 36.
And that don't even have nothing new from this year yet, is it? Anybody got any questions on the financial report? None? Okay, any committee announcements? Kevin, thanks for Bob and Mike being on committee, cause you're not attorney.
Won't be the same.
Good luck to the rest of us, see if we're here next month.
Yep,
Time
that's
will
my
tell.
Bob.
Good luck to you guys.
Yeah.
The business should come up for it.
Next we have the invoices.